Hello everyone, welcome back to Comic Book Late Night Unlimited. It is I, Captain Logan, and joining me tonight are my co-hosts Austin and Chris. Hello Austin, how are you, man?
I'm good.
For once, we're doing 2 shows in a row, 2 weeks in a row. Isn't that amazing?
Exactly, yeah.
This is ostensibly a weekly show, and we're actually here and relatively on time. And wouldn't you know it, it's a week. It's kind of a slow week. It's not a week with a whole lot going on from last week, but we made it.
We did, yeah.
And there is one big book from last week that I'll talk about, which is Spider-Man Superman. Number one.
Yeah.
I say number one. What a giant number one, but it's a one shot. You know?
Exactly.
I don't even know why we do that, but anyway. So we had the Superman, Spider-Man DC one for a few weeks ago, and as they did with Batman and Deadpool, this is kind of a tradition with these crossover things. Each company gets one.
Yeah.
And so their character goes first in the titling scheme, and so we have another just kind of little collection of short stories, and so I'll run through some of those and talk about that a little bit later. Austin's got a few books from last week. I didn't have a lot of pulls, and I've not looked to see what's coming out tomorrow, so we'll see if tomorrow's a big week or not. Austin, have you looked yet, or are we all going to be surprised here?
I looked at just to see how many books I had, and I think I also only have like 6 this week. Like I got a pretty slow week this one too.
Okay, cool. I think of 5 or 6 as a pretty standard week for me right now. I've scaled back a little bit too, to be fair. And by scaled back, Chris, I just mean I was pulling majoratively miniseries,
right,
and they've all ended.
All ended. So.
And I've not replaced all of them with something new. So I might be a little slow for a while. I am trying out some stuff.
Yeah.
I started pulling Joshua Williamson's Superman with the new arc with the Superboy Prime, and I reviewed that first issue last week or the week before, and I really liked that. And or I like that well enough to keep going with it, I should say. And so I'm trying a couple things here and there, but Austin's been grabbing up a lot more, even with Big 2, like monthlies that are in continuity. And everything you're talking about sounds really cool, Austin. A lot of it's just not like characters I feel the need to collect, but I would like to buy or I would like to read in digital eventually. I will say I don't have it in hand yet, but I did get my shop to grab me a copy of Aquaman 16 because that cover was too freaking cool, and Austin sold it as like a TOS episode, and so I was like, well, I gotta get that. So
You speak a cap's language. Exactly.
Yep.
Well, if Austin of all people is going to the Star Trek place and positively, I feel like it's almost obligatory, an obligatory thing. I was gonna say like obligatorily, I must buy that. So anyway.
Yeah, well, especially because that book was so fantasy at the start, and then it seems to have flipped into sci-fi, and it was like sci-fi fantasy. Like I think I described, early issues. He's like sailing like a pirate ship on a river through space and stuff like that. Like so, like it always had sci-fi bent to it, but now it's like, oh, now it's just Star Trek.
It sounds like Treasure Planet at the start.
I have to say, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. As always, or I should say, always now, we've kind of changed how we pick features now. So we're spinning a wheel each show. Tonight we're going to do something different, and I haven't even told you about this yet, but Austin and I went with a different plan for next week. So we're not actually going to spin the wheel tonight, but folks can still leave a $5 super chat to put something on the wheel, and we will spin the wheel next show. And we promise that almost every show we will be spinning the wheel to pick the feature, but we wanted to do a special show next week because, and I didn't even bring this up on the Captain Logan show last night, there were comments about it and I forgot to get to it, but over the weekend we lost Jerry Conway.
Yes.
And Austin messaged me today and pitched the notion of a Jerry Conway tribute show, and I was like, well, yes, of course we should be doing that. And what's really nice, this is going to sound morbid when I say, like, now when folks pass away, we have a place to do things, but now that we're doing like one big comic show, it kind of makes sense to maybe do tribute shows for big creators, especially people that one or all of us really admires, and there's like that big run or that big story. Austin was like, "Hey, do you have any Jerry Conway in your collection so that we can even do cover of the week with Jerry Conway next week?" And I was like, well, yeah, I'm sure I do. So I went in my database and I had like 149 issues. So I, kind of take my pick. So next week, our feature and cover of the week will both be Jerry Conway things. And so, Austin, would you announce what those books are going to be for us?
No, like you said, just well, I think I had it yesterday and then just forgot to mention it, and then today I was like, oh no, I'm gonna mention it because Jerry Conway is such a big, important figure in comics. Like, it feels weird not to touch it. But we're gonna do for cover of the week, Amazing Spider-Man number 129, which of course is first appearance of Punisher. And then
the most valuable
book
in my collection.
Yes, you were talking about that.
This is a very expensive book. I've talked about this a lot, or at least just as being a big book in my collection. I don't believe I've ever reviewed it, or if I have, it's been so long we might as well do it, the three of us, because it'll be kind of fun to go back and look at that. And Punisher is weirdly timely right now, so that's fun too.
Yeah. That's the weird thing, is both things are weirdly timely, because you have that, and obviously we have a new Spider-Man movie with Punisher coming out, and then the other one is the original Superman and Spider-Man crossover, which will be like the main feature.
That's what we'll do for the feature next time.
Sounds good, yeah.
And I don't own a physical copy of that. I've had a couple of chances to buy it, and that's kind of a high dollar book.
Yeah.
I wish I bought it 10 years ago when it was sitting in front of me, because it's more high dollar now than it was back then.
I know there's a facsimile version that's been floating around too. I've seen in like some shops.
And I almost, that came out not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I almost bought that when it dropped, and it was still like $15. And I just had enough going on, I decided not to grab that.
Yeah.
But now that we're going to review it, I kind of wish I had, because I'd love to have it in hand.
Yeah.
When I'm at the shop tomorrow, if they've got one, I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on it. I don't know if they still have any, but they did for a while. I wonder how quickly I could get one if I ordered it. Like, I wonder if I could get somebody to ship me one quick enough. I'll read it digital, but that is a book, even just facsimile, I'd love to physically have.
Yeah. It's funny. There's a story about Jerry Conway because he also wrote legal dramas. Like, he wrote Law and Order, a ton of Law and Order episodes, apparently.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's funny because he wanted to, because he had a lot of TV experience, even if it was mostly like police procedurals, he wanted to write in like Smallville. I think even wanted to try to write in like Legends of Tomorrow. But the studio said no, because they looked at his resume and said, oh, you just write police procedurals. You're not good for superhero TV. And apparently his response was like, hey, you see that guy there, Firestorm? I created him. It's like, yeah, but you mostly write police procedurals. Like, you don't understand. I'm Jerry Conway.
Yeah, like, you're using a bunch of material that I either came up with or massively influenced.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, really, you don't want the guy that killed Gwen Stacy to work on your superhero show? Really?
Exactly, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, one of the best Spider-Man runs of all time.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that doesn't make sense about that, we'll get out of this rabbit hole here in a second.
Right.
The other thing that doesn't make sense about that to me, though, Chris, is there were other comic creators, particularly, not so much when you got to the Arrowverse stuff, as much, but particularly on Smallville, that didn't have a lot of screen credit, that were comic writers first, which is a thing that I always really respected Goff and Miller for, that like they were willing to go to those guys, and like however you feel about them or some of the people they got, like Jeff Loeb was a major producer on that show and wrote episodes, and Jeff Johns did some of the best episodes in that, and then
Right.
Arrowverse, Jeff Johns was, I believe, a producer and wrote some episodes, but he was about the only one, I think. I don't think there were a lot of comic people by that point.
I think Loeb was mostly doing like Marvel stuff at the time too.
Yeah,
he was
well,
doing producing.
Loeb was producing a lot on TV, but I don't know that he wrote a lot of TV.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
I'm just saying, if Smallville was willing to go to those guys, especially Johns, who didn't have a lot of TV work,
right?
Why on earth wouldn't they want Jerry Conway?
I know, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I think Loeb wrote Commando, which is weird.
Commando and Teen Wolf, apparently. If I've got my Jeff Loeb
He wrote the original Teen Wolf?
Yes, if I
didn't know that one.
That also does not immediately scream superhero TV.
Yeah.
You'd think that would be the same story, where it would be like, well, look, you wrote Teen Wolf. We don't want you on this Superman show. I'm Jeff Loeb.
Yeah.
I did a major Superman origin.
To be fair, I mean,
It's a Superman origin show.
The CW knew about Teen Wolf.
Well, Teen Wolf was a CW-esque show, but it wasn't on CW.
Oh, you're right. That was on MTV. It was on MTV.
Teen Wolf was MTV.
Yeah. I forgot MTV existed for a
minute. I don't know why you would want to know that, but it happens to be a thing
it's
I know.
It's in my brain somehow, yeah.
But anyway, well, Austin, thanks for that suggestion. I'm glad we're doing that. So that'll be a good show. So we'll meet next week, the Jerry Conway tribute show. Obviously, we'll talk about new books and things. The whole show won't be Jerry Conway, but the feature and cover of the week will be that. I don't know if I will actually crack open my several $100 Amazing 129.
Break that binding. Break the binding.
You gotta like take out 2 pairs of tweezers to like slowly
put on your white glove like you're holding the Stanley Cup.
Because I mean, I don't have like a pristine
with the glove.
I don't have a pristine copy of this. Like mine is probably like a good to very good, if that. It's still worth a few $100. In a raw Amazing 129 right now, in like very fine condition. You know, we're talking like an 885 is nearly $1,000.
Yeah.
And 129 is a book I've read several times, but never in color, because that's one of those books I read in the old Essential volumes. So it'll be cool to finally see that in color.
I read it I read it on the app too. So I did read it in color, but I read it in the digital space.
Which means you probably read a recolored version of it. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean a lot of those. When they made,
I should buy a facsimile of that, even though I already own it,
and a lot
so that I can read full in print.
They put out one recently.
Yeah, that's been out, and several times. But I think there is a new printing.
I do know that a lot of like Marvel's digital stuff came from, at least the Spider-Man stuff came from the old CD-ROMs they used to have.
Yeah, I still have a couple of those.
Right.
I had a neat one that. I think I've mentioned this before, that had the first 10 issues of, I think, 10 of the major, like Marvel books in the 60s. So it was like the first 10 issues of Daredevil and Spider-Man and X-Men, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how I read the Daredevil Yellow stuff. And is Austin why I picked that a few months ago for us to talk about, because I was a little bit nostalgic for that. From I was in college and I brought my laptop to school and I read it on my laptop.
Yeah, and I read a couple issues after we did that, and there's some good stuff once he puts on the red suit. Like I think him fighting Namor is like the next issue, and that issue is really interesting because it's like one of the only places where we address that like there's a giant power level difference between them in that time. It's like, oh yeah, Daredevil cannot physically beat Namor, and like the end of that issue is like him holding Namor by the ankle and being like, I'm not gonna give up, and Namor's like,
that's awesome.
You know what? Like I kind of look up to you, man. Like you're still trying. I think I will give up.
How much more respect would he have for him if he knew he was blind, too?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to read that. Because, I have not continued past where we were. Or at least not in a long time. Like I said, I don't think we did all 10, and I've done that, but it's been a long time. And by a long time, I mean like 20 years, probably. That was like, I read that stuff in probably 06, 07.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Which doesn't feel like 20 years to me, but but has been. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get to books coming out tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not taking one look at this, so it'll be like Christmas, except, Christmas you have to pay for. So
These books you have to pay for too.
So we've got Ultimates 23. The Ultimate Universe is winding down, of course. I think the ones that started at the beginning are going to 24, and so they'll have a couple of issues left. Captain America 10, Uncanny X-Men 27. There's a new Zatanna book starting tomorrow. Are either of you guys going to try that?
Oh yeah, that's one of the next level books I've been most excited for.
I'm gonna check it out too.
I think you maybe mentioned it once or twice, but I couldn't remember. Here in the moment, I was like, "Did I know about this book? I don't even remember."
And I think it's spinning off of a mini they did a while ago, so I'll probably try to read that mini as well this week.
Zatanna, it's showtime.
Yeah,
maybe that's
it's a cool cover.
What it was.
I like how splashy that cover is.
Yeah.
That feels pretty quintessential, that character. And if it does well, it being DC as opposed to Marvel, it actually has a chance at going past 7 or 8 issues. With DC, like, if that doesn't sell well, it'll probably be 12 and then they'll quit. But they do tend to give it a year much of the time anyway.
Well, like I said, I know that's spinning off of a mini where it's the same guy that did the mini, so clearly that was selling well enough that they went just make it an ongoing.
Well, that's a good point.
So they must have some level of confidence in it, at least for a bit.
Yeah, and like sometimes we don't do this as much anymore. Sometimes you'd see a miniseries turn into an ongoing, and these days I think there's too much. What's the word I'm looking for? There's the greed factor of, well, another number one will sell more copies, and get more eyes on it and all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Punisher number 3. Are you still reading that book, Austin?
Yeah.
He's not sure for how much longer it sounds.
He just
like.
goes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping it gets good. It's issue number 3, so that's the main deciding point, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's where Chris is going to start, actually.
See, that's your problem.
He's not read the first 2. He's going to buy number 3. You just watch. Next week, Chris is going to show up with a copy of Punisher number 3.
I'm tempted.
All right, moving right along. Image has a book called Skinbreaker, which I don't know if we mentioned this. It's already in 8, and I don't know anything about this. This is
the last issue.
This is a Kirkman book.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and David Finch.
Yeah.
Which I should have been able to tell just looking at that cover.
There's some names on this, too.
So, Austin, let me ask you a question. At the point that you cap a series off at 8, are you a mini-series or are you a maxi-series?
You're a series.
You're a series, yeah.
But
you exist.
Like,
you're a mini-series.
Were you a monthly?
Yeah, it's
8 is such a weird number. And there are a fair number of 8-issue series. Of series that intentionally cap off at 8. And, like, it's a nice round number. Right. You've got a clear midway point with a 4. Like, if you have a complex enough story to tell, sometimes 6 isn't going to get the job done. So I'm not even making fun of 8 as a cap-off. I just don't know what to call it.
I know, like, in Screenwriter, you have, like, the 8 sequences that is basically like the 3-act structure just expanded a little bit too.
That's a good point. Yeah. But then you would think for comics the natural number would be 9.
Yeah.
Because if it's 8, then you're either shafting an issue in the middle. Well, you could even, I guess, have a real quick inciting incident and do your first act in 2 issues. But I was going to say, more than likely, you're gonna shaft your middle, or you're gonna shaft your climax.
Yeah.
No, and I've heard that book described as basically letting David Finch just run wild. Like, I heard it's more art driven. I kind of missed it when it started, so I didn't pick it up. But now that it's done, I'll probably pick it up and trade.
How do you feel about Finch?
I like Finch. He's one of those artists where it's like, people who really don't like Finch have like those couple of panels where they're like, "Look how wonky this looks," and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like overall, I would say I probably like David Finch.
So I'm gonna say something that's maybe gonna sound kind of unfair and mean to Finch, and I don't mean it that way at all. I think he's a decent artist.
Yeah.
Finch strikes me as a cover guy that is fast enough. He also does interiors. You know what I mean? Like when you look at because he's real splashy, right?
He is, yeah.
And there's kind of a three-dimensional quality to his art, and so when you look at his interiors. And he also really likes his full page spreads.
Yes.
Like he does more than your average bear at your full page spreads and your 2-page, pin-up kind of pages.
Right.
So I look at his interiors and I go, every one of these could be a cover.
Yeah.
Like he seems like a cover artist that's just fast enough that he ends up doing interiors.
Yeah, he and Brian Hitch kind of live in a similar place in my head.
I agree.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Brian Hitch.
And I probably have equal experience with those guys.
I think with like Brian Hitch in particular too, everything there's like a real. This might be because I first kind of got to know him as an artist through the Ultimates. There's a real like cinematic quality too, where
Well, that's true.
he was going for like the widescreen comics.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Nicholas Bodo says Absolute took a break this week. You have those weeks. Like
Yeah.
sometimes there's 3 and sometimes there's none. Last week was more of an Absolute week. Well, I say that. I think there was just Wonder Woman.
There's only 2, Flash and Wonder Woman.
Oh,
Oh, I
Flash.
forgot about, yeah.
See, the problem is I'm only buying 3 of them, or no, well, 4 now because I started picking up Superman and I was getting Martian Manhunter. So in my defense, I'm buying 4 of the 6 now.
Yeah, I can't remember when Green Arrow starts, but I've been like itching for that because
I
it
will
looks
try
cool.
that most certainly. But like, I also I don't want to say I'm a full-on Green Arrow guy, but like I like Green Arrow. I own quite a bit of Green Arrow, so that's one that makes more sense for me to buy than like a Flash. But
Yeah,
anyway.
it's just a mini too.
Oh, is it? Well, I'll commit to that.
Yeah.
I just lost a lot of minis.
Exactly.
So
You gotta mini up your
I got
game.
space
Yeah.
for minis. I'll happily jump on them. We do have a new already DCX Sonic coming out.
Oh, really?
So I'm like begrudgingly gonna buy that just because I bought the first one, but like the story wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Like the covers were cool. I bought
You're
it
running
mostly
into
for
the
that.
issue I had with
My kids love it.
Godzilla Marvel Infinity Roar.
Yeah, but you're like,
Infinity War.
there was part of me that was kind of excited when that was done.
Yeah.
At least I probably I don't want to say for certain because I have to see what they do.
Yeah.
I'm probably at least not buying the first issue 5 times this time.
Right.
Because I bought all those variants that somebody made fun of me and said they looked like terrible photoshops.
Right.
And I was like, well, okay. I mean, now that I'm looking at it closer, you're not wrong, but I still like them. So like they're the kind of Photoshop covers that I'll buy, I guess. I have no shame. Batman Wonder Woman Truth #1 is a thing I only found out about today. That's a nice cover, by the by. But it's silly because this
It's more Hush.
is after Hush 2, which has not finished yet.
I love the fact.
Well, I think it might be I think it might be set between the 2 Hush books, but it is like the follow-up to Hush, where they were like, and after Hush 2 comes out, we're gonna put out this new book, and like even when you click on it, it's like a tale from the world of Batman Hush.
I still love the fact that technically there are 2 volumes of Batman running concurrently.
Yep.
Because you've got like the Hush 2 stuff, but you've also got like
'cause-
Fraction stuff.
Well, yeah, because we renumbered before they were finished.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so silly. But also, okay, can I ask you guys a question? I hadn't even given this any thought before. What do you think of this, Austin? If Hush 2 had finished on time, would we have renumbered Batman? Did Batman renumber because they were trying to get eyes on it with Fraction and go, this is like a tonal reboot, and we want people to know that it's not like it was before, and we're kind of going back to the drawing board, back to brass tacks? Or was it, well, we need Batman.
Yeah, we need
and
Batman.
we're not getting Batman, and we can't let Batman be months late. It's Batman. What happened there?
Yeah, I forget what series it is, but there has been one like that's like on the tip of my tongue that was late, so they just like jumped forward 2 issues until they were able to catch up. But my gut reaction is probably they would still renumber just because Batman was one of the only things that hadn't. But I mean, also you could be entirely correct.
I'm really not sure. I think you're right. I think it's more likely that they had already intended on renumbering. But then that's also kind of lucky and convenient for them.
Yeah.
That they just did.
Yeah, good timing.
If they had already been planning it, the timing was good. Where they wouldn't have even had to figure out a fix for it.
I just think it's hilarious that we can't tell. That we're not sure.
How would
It's
we
like,
not?
yeah.
Well, here's what, Fraction is already
there is a
9
level
issues
of
in.
uncertainty.
How are we only now having this conversation? I hadn't even given this any thought until just now.
Yeah, no, Fraction's been on that book almost a year.
Yeah.
And Hattush is still not done.
Hattush, yeah. Hey, it's
And
Enigma time.
the prequel to Hattush that was supposed to come after is coming out before it finishes.
Yeah.
I also can't deal with From the World of Hush
From the
2.
World of
So
Hush.
that's just Batman, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You mean
Are we
Batman,
just
the
already
franchise?
saying that that's not in continuity?
From everything because
world.
I've not been reading that, it sounds atrocious. I don't care. But from everything I've been hearing, it sure doesn't sound like it should fit in continuity. And it sounds like we've retroactively wound up in kind of a Frank Miller plays.
Yeah.
With Jeff Loeb's Batman. It's just so awkward because he's got stuff that's in continuity and stuff that's not.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess Frank Miller technically does too.
I don't know, because I don't think Year One is in canon anymore.
Yeah, but it used to
It used to be.
And I think Jeff
used
Loeb
to be, yeah.
always had that where was Long Halloween ever in canon?
I think technically it's one of those where because
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that was retroactively put in canon. Like Killing Joke was never supposed to be canon. Like Killing Joke, yeah.
Yes, but that's different,
Right.
Because that was considered canonical immediately,
Right.
Long Halloween always seemed like a big question mark to me, but
Yeah.
I mean, remember, we've got Barbara Gordon in the wheelchair and becoming Oracle couple of years after that, Chris.
Yeah, that's
Killing
true.
Joke is in continuity immediately.
Right.
Now, I'm kind of with you. I don't think it should have been.
Yeah.
Even though I really like Oracle.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You read that book, and tonally, it really feels like an out-of-continuity thing.
Right.
But
I read the actual script for The Killing Joke for the first time about a month or so ago. And everything you've heard about Alan Moore's scripts, 100% true. It opens with, I was looking at this with my girlfriend, and the whole page 1, panel 1 is a paragraph this long that's like, all right, Brian, we're ready to get started. You might make yourself a cup of coffee first. All this really
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny too.
He's writing a YouTube video.
He is, yeah. No, and
That's
it's
awesome.
funny because I'm looking at this with my girlfriend, and eventually I show her. It's like, okay, just for context, get at my phone. This is the panel, and it's just like a puddle with some raindrops. And she looks.
It took 3 pages.
Yeah,
to make
exactly.
that panel,
Yeah. And it's funny too because she's written stuff before. We've written stuff together. So she looks at it, and I know we don't necessarily like to use profanity on this show, but she looks at it and goes, "He writes just like me. He writes like an asshole." And it's like, yes, he does.
Except he's a wizard.
He's a wizard. He is. Yeah.
Let's finish running down what's coming out tomorrow. So far, I don't have anything. I'm sure that will change. It looks like Avengers Armageddon is about to finally start. Swamp Thing 1989 #1 comes out tomorrow. Austin, are you going to give that a shot?
Probably, yeah.
Is that
I'll try that.
Because I wasn't I wasn't sure if it made sense to even read that unless you knew that whole series, because it's supposed to be like a tacked on finisher.
Oh, is that the
Isn't it?
one?
It's like the last.
Yeah.
It's like finally the last 4 issues of that volume of Swamp Thing.
Yeah, because wasn't that the story that was pulled because it was controversial because he's going back to biblical times?
Oh, was that what it is? I don't even know.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I've been on the fence, but if I'm going to pick it up, I will get it at some point. It's just, am I going to read it monthly? Because it's been so long since I've read that Swamp Thing stuff. So I'm like, would it make more sense if I went through and read it again before I got there?
Yeah, because
so I'll kind of see. I'll play it by ear.
Yeah, because I think I'd heard how that was a storyline that was a little controversial because it dealt with some religious themes and had him going back to like Jerusalem AD, 30 AD, and so a lot of like the religious themes they pulled it at the time. It's just now they're bringing it back, and I'm not sure if they're like how much was actually finished, how much of it they're building off of, but if that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what the story was.
Yeah.
So something else to mention about this next week, I didn't think about this until just now, but we do have free Comic Book Day on Saturday, and I imagine some stuff will come out that we'll want to talk about from that. Unfortunately, I have to take Jason to a dance competition this weekend, so I don't even know if I'll be able to make Free Comic Book Day.
Right.
So I'll see if I can get my comic shop guys to hold some stuff back for me, because I don't know if I can get down there. But anyway, there's only a couple of things I already know about that I know for sure I want to try to grab.
Yeah.
Because they're previewing, Boom is previewing the new Power Rangers with Free Comic Day, and I'll definitely want to get that. And I'm like pins and needles thinking that's not going to be very good, but
Right.
then I'll know, and that'll be good.
It'll be free.
But something that is very odd that I didn't know about, that I'm looking at right here, you guys. So Free Comic Book Day is on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing stuff like Image, Energon Universe. They're doing these like yearly specials. Look at the top, Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Right? Just the same logo it's always been. It's exactly what you expect to see for Free Comic Day. What is happening with Marvel? Comics Giveaway Day 2026.
I think
no Free Comic Book Day logo at the top. This cover, this is a Queen in Black thing. This preview for that. This cover has a new logo that's Comics Giveaway Day. So, is this a distribution issue? Is it that if you're with a particular distributor, you're still Free Comic Book Day, and if it's a different one, it's not? Is that what this is? Or is Marvel being weird and deciding to make up their own, but it's the same day? What is happening?
it's legally distinct. Original
But
content
why?
do not
But
steal.
like, why?
I have no
I
idea.
just scrolled a little further, and DC is Free Comic Book Day. It's just Marvel.
It's just Marvel.
Marvel, yeah.
Now, they have different distributors.
Right.
But Image is calling it Free Comic Book Day and using the logo. I imagine Boom and Dynamite and everybody else will too. What is Marvel? I know I ask this every week, guys, but what is Marvel doing?
Comic like that. What is Marvel doing?
Have you've been paying a little bit more attention than I have up until just last year? Did they do this last year?
I don't think so. I think it was still.
Is
Free
this
Comic-
brand new?
I think this is brand new. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be.
It's a brand new day.
Yeah, it's a brand new day. Oh. You know, the comics are free because you already sold your wife to Mephisto.
Well, sorry if I'm belaboring this point, but that's freaking weird.
Yeah. I do know that, like, Free Comic Day is technically its own business entity, so maybe there's some sort of, again, like, some sort of publisher issue. Maybe Marvel just has the one that's not playing nice, or...
Well, that's not shocking.
Dark Horse. I just scrolled further. Dark Horse also is Giveaway Day.
Oh,
But then-
interesting.
Something called Vault Comics and Titan Comics both have Free Comic Book Day.
I think I've read some Volt stuff. And Titans.
Yeah, my
Boom is
instinct-
Giveaway Day.
Yeah.
Boom
So
is
yeah, it
giveaway
must be some
day.
sort of
Oh, wow.
Boom is
Okay,
Giveaway.
Because there's more companies than just Marvel doing it. My instinct is it's a distributor issue.
Yeah.
And
Must be, yeah.
and I don't know if those three use the same distributor. I'm a little lost on who the distributors are now,
Right.
and what companies are using who. I know Dynamite uses a different one from DC and some of the others, but
Yeah.
And anyway,
Dynamite is free comic book day. I just found them.
okay.
We got Marvel's Kirkland Originals comic book day.
Well, thanks for
It looks
looking
like
into that.
most of them are. It's just there's like a couple of ones that are different.
Yeah, including Marvel. It's so
Including
weird.
Marvel, yeah.
Justice
Bizarre.
League Intergalactic Special #1. There have been so many of these Justice League one-shots recently that have like freakishly long titles, and they all look exactly like this with the way they format the logos. So anyway, that's tomorrow. A lot of one-shots and #1s tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Chris, I've only seen the one #3 so far.
I see a Wolverine #3 up there. So
there you
I got
go.
2 books in my pull.
There you go. Generation
And the 2 books after
X23
Intergalactic
number
are.
3.
Generation X23.
Yeah, did you guys know this was happening? Because Marvel freaking loves their pun titles. Generation X23.
X23 down for the count.
I didn't know about this. Literally nothing about that looks appealing to me.
You know, it's been 30 years since the
Right along.
Generation X TV movie.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that on the Rewind Commentary Project for a while.
Yeah.
I will occasionally put that on a poll for Patreon, and nobody ever bites. So at some point, I'm just going to freaking pick it.
Exactly.
And 5
Hey,
people will
eventually
show
the
up.
Red Brown Captain America won. So if that can win, anything can
The
win.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
One of the few Red Brown movies where he's not like screaming every other word.
I know.
No, he's shockingly boring. There's a new Doom 2099 book that starts tomorrow. I don't know why Marvel is still trying 2099 things. I don't think anybody cares. But Doom was some of the best stuff of the old 2099. But it's funny, they're like they're harping so hard on Doom right now.
Yeah.
Because of the movie coming out. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I know we've talked
I
about
was
this.
thinking, like obviously you have the Doom push that we're doing right now, and then you have Wonder Man right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right before that, there's a Wiccan book that looks like it was a tie-in for Agatha, which is kind of weird. Because it's like the Witch's Road thing, which was a big part of that show, and Wiccan's in that show. So like it feels like a weird tie-in to that. I don't know.
Weirdly delayed because that's been out a while.
Right.
There's a lot of that with Marvel where they'll do things that look like
Tie-ins to something
they'll
from 2 years ago.
Well, that's what I was going to say is they'll do the clear, obvious synergy things with something that's about to come out or something that recently came out, and then they'll do things like the female Silver Surfer one shot that they did like a month ago or a couple of weeks ago. It's supposed to be like sort of in continuity,
Right.
with the new Fantastic Four.
Oh
and
yeah, it
MCU.
was the movie prequel comic.
And I'm like,
why did that come
it's
out like
a
a month
year
ago?
later almost.
Yeah.
So like, what are we doing?
I mean, I know that movie didn't do as well as at the box office.
Yeah, but those things always come out to promote the movie.
Yeah, I was trying to
It's been
think,
out.
Are they just trying to like promote it being on Disney Plus now? Is that what's happening?
You know what has the worst
Nothing about it
example of
makes any
that
sense.
What's that?
is the Rise of Skywalker comic tie-in.
Yeah.
Which came out like 3 years later.
And that was also Marvel.
Yeah. Oh, we got another comic book
They love
giveaway
that kind
day.
of thing. Yeah.
Something's Killing the Children also is legally distinct for comic book day.
Well, yeah, because that's Boom,
That's Boom, yeah. So
isn't it?
I think so, isn't it?
Because he said Boom was also doing it.
Yeah, I always think that. Well, I always think that's an Image book for some reason.
I
forget
did
it's
too.
Boom. Yeah.
Until recently.
I had the same thing.
So apparently there's a tie-in book for the new Lego Batman game. It's cool they're doing that because Lego doesn't do a lot with comics usually.
Yeah.
But they're doing that for Free Comic Book Day, and there's not enough like just good kids stuff in general, and so it seems like there's always like more around Free Comic Book Day. And I'm like, why can't we get this like regularly?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. And then there's one for Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and you have
With Jeff the Land Shark.
Venom versus Jeff the Land Shark.
He looks like a weird, like, bug Venom.
Oh, great. Now I have to do a security verification. Apparently, I'm going back and forth on this page too much.
Because we're a robot.
That's so weird. Yeah. I've never had that with this website before. Anyway, I Hate Fairyland is up to issue 50.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty crazy. And this is like the second volume of that. Because that had a whole series back when I was working at a comic shop years ago.
I read the first issue of Viking Moon.
Viking Moon?
Yeah.
Well, you should be excited. This is another issue 3.
That's true. Which is funny because I'm pretty sure I read the first issue like 10 months ago.
How is that?
You know, it's exactly what you wanted. It's Vikings fighting werewolves. And
I'm
honestly,
sold.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, because it's about, the Vikings coming to America and fighting werewolves in Vinland. So, I mean, it's basically, it is exactly what it promises you on the cover, and I can respect that.
With number 3s, Chris, you need to get The Deadly Hands of Kunlun number 3.
I was about to bring that up.
You know what? I'm tempted.
So and I mean, we've skipped some weeks this year, unfortunately, but like every time we do this show, we look at what's coming out the next day. And I don't understand how some of these books have already gotten to number 3 before I've even heard of them.
Yeah, like, I know, right?
Well, I don't remember mentioning Deadly Hands of Kunlun, but there it is.
It's got Elektra and Karnak. We all love Karnak. He had a mini-series by Warren Ellis like a few years ago.
Hey, don't besmirch the good name of Karnak, okay?
That's fair. Look, that's fair.
He was real big in that. I mean, people saw him in some panels in the 90s.
That's true.
Okay, and I had a Spider-Man poster that had Karnak on it. I don't know why.
I think he had an action figure. I think he was part of.
Is Karnak an Inhuman?
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking of a different character. Now that I know who Karnak is. No, Karnak is in more things than I thought he was.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, and that's the new Iron Fist too.
There's a new Iron Fist.
Yeah, they made an Asian Iron Fist, and that's the one that they used for Marvel Rivals. Because I was like, why not just use Shang-Chi at that point? But I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm not surprised they felt the need to do that.
No, I'm not either for the comics after the stink people had over the show.
Yeah. Austin, I don't know if I even need to go to the comic shop tomorrow. I don't think I actually have anything on my pull list. Like, I kind of want to
get Batman, Garfield? Wonder Woman from the world of Hattush.
Hattush.
Well, I found a facsimile that Chris is going to have to get.
Yeah.
Because here's a facsimile for Dark Knight Returns number 3. That's tomorrow.
Look.
What are the odds of that? I said earlier there's not enough number 3s coming out. There's more number 3s than number 1s, I think.
Exactly, yeah.
They must be doing that whole series because every DC book I have right now is like the 40th anniversary. So I guess that's their big thing.
They're making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we sell that.
You can also get free Comic Book Day Street Fighter Forever number 0.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we love Capcom in this show too.
Austin, don't say it out loud. We have a viewer that will make us review it. We're constantly having to do Street Fighter.
They do have Wrestle Heist, which is a book that I have been following since day one.
I don't know if you guys want to go through all the free Comic Book Day stuff. I'm just gonna probably kind of scroll through it, but there's tons of it. And I guess it's not all called Free Comic Day anymore. We're living in the weird future, you guys. The place where not even a Free Comic Day is safe.
Yeah.
But here's what is on offer for Free Comic Day in case you feel the need to get out on Saturday and stand in a big line to get free comics. That some of them will be comics and some of them will just be like short samples of a bunch of things. I think we're getting a little bit better about that now. at least with some stuff. Daredevil Pan-Dimensional 3D Edition #1.
It's Guardian Devil, the first.
Look at that.
Yeah.
In 3D. All right.
You can see it in a way that Matt can't.
Austin
At
will
all.
Be, that's awesome.
That was good.
Austin
that was good.
will be rushing out on Saturday for comics giveaway day. Garfield #1.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
There it is. Boom is doing a Garfield comic. I'm sure
There's
that's
also
gonna...
Baby Garfield #2, so I guess there's Garfield and Baby Garfield.
From the
Okay.
world of Garfield.
That is
From
gonna...
the world of Garfield.
Gar2field.
I'll just scroll down. Here's the rest of Free Comic Book Day or Comics Giveaway Day.
Yeah.
Depending on what company you have and what probably distributor you have. Oh my God, they are doing. No, maybe I was gonna say it looks like they're doing a bunch of variants for DC X Sonic, but it actually looks like these are just second printings of the first book. I guess these covers are kind of fun. I don't like them as well as the ones I bought.
Archie is doing a Super Mario Galaxy movie crossover.
Oh, okay. Is anyone shocked that Nintendo even greenlit that?
A little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
Mario Galaxy.
No one can resist Archie. Like Archie asks to cross over, you say yes.
I gotta tell you though, everything about this is weird. I don't know if it's weird enough that I'm gonna like go out and get it, but it's weird. Okay,
it's not weird in the way Archie
Comics
usually is.
85th anniversary presents Archie Game Galaxy #1. So it's okay. It's not a Mario Galaxy crossover. It's a parody.
Oh, okay. I just saw it in passing and assumed it was a crossover.
Archie Game Galaxy. No, like it's not. It's hardly even legally distinct. Like they would have to win on grounds of parody with this. But it is not a Nintendo crossover.
I mean, it's a good thing Nintendo's not litigious at all, too.
I was gonna say
zero lawyers up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Austin, it makes sense to me now in a way it didn't when you said it out loud. Where I was like, "There's no way Nintendo
that
allowed
is fair.
Like, there's no way."
Well, they also their free comic book day is World of Archie, which is just funny after all of the from the world
from the world of Archie.
From the world of Archie.
Nicholas Bodo said you were brutal, Austin, when you said that about the Daredevil. Daredevil's like me; he can't see in 3D. Now he can't see at all. I can only see in 2D, but I can't see in 3D. But I can understand Daredevil's pain more than at least anybody here. Okay.
Yeah, fair.
Because neither of us can see in 3D. And I still want my parking placard. Austin.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
he can see in like sonar, which is cool. So
Well, that is cool.
That's
I
like
can't do
something.
that.
You can't do that.
You can't read a Kevin Smith comic as Sonar.
We're putting out a
No.
Daredevil comic in Sonar.
Yep. That's a real Batman cacophony.
I did always want to see a Daredevil comic in Braille.
Oh,
where like it's a cool image with like but with raised, like pinpoints.
I'm surprised they haven't done that.
I
honestly,
know.
Too, yeah.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
But then
or just like a bunch of pages that are just black.
Oh.
Okay, let's move on, folks. Austin and I are gonna review down some stuff that we bought last week. Again, it was not a big week. I had to spend most of my reading time on one thing because it was pretty thick. But Austin, let's start with I think probably the only book you and I will have together this time, which is Absolute Wonder Woman 19. If you got to that.
Yes, which I wrote incorrectly because I thought it was 20, but it counts the annual on the Kindle app, so messed me up.
None of these
so I had
are
it written as
20.
20.
Because Absolute Batman was 19 last week, and then we're at 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I talked about this one already. I've got it. I've got the hard copy in my hand now, but I already reviewed this last week.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
With the new Robins and the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about Absolute Wonder Woman 19. We're at the penultimate issue of this 5-issue arc. With the season of
there's
the
like
Witch.
a million things that happen in this issue. It's pretty packed.
Dense.
It is, yeah. Wonder Woman's got to go fight Zatara, who is Zatanna's father, of course, and he's being controlled by Veronica Cale, and Zatanna has to free him, but through freeing him, imprisons Wonder Woman, so then she has to free Wonder Woman, and then meanwhile, Giganta is trying to kidnap Barbara Minerva, and there's just a ton of action going down.
Zatanna started off looking like she was maybe going to be this weird villainous version, and she's flipped all the way back around to kind of just Zatanna.
Possibly love interest Zatanna. That's kind of been like a thing that they're maybe hinting at through this arc, but who knows if that will continue.
Oh, that's gone completely over my head.
It's been like
missed that.
Pretty subtle. Yeah. But there's been like a little bit of that.
Okay. But just characterization-wise, like, she's not as different as I thought she was going to be.
Especially with that design, too.
It's like one of the only cases where we've somehow made a character dress more provocatively in like a modern-day comic than their usual costume.
That's true.
I was like, wow, okay.
She's got a lot of Black Canary in her.
That's true. She does.
I mean, when she was first introduced, I thought maybe she was their version of Black Canary because there's so much fishnet, and then it turned out that she was Zatanna.
Oh yeah, because you missed the issue where we see her like in prison, so you would have just gotten her showing up.
That was the first time I saw her. Yeah,
that's right. I wasn't even thinking about that.
That idea that's introduced at the start of this, Austin, that there's a goddess that put part of herself in Wonder Woman that might make people love her magically is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, just like that whole idea. It made me think of Drax in Guardians 2, where he's like, it's better to be ugly because then you know that you can trust people. Where it's like a similar thing where Aphrodite's like, the thing that I gave her is love, so people like feel an inherent love to Wonder Woman.
Oh, it was Aphrodite.
So
okay.
like
I wasn't actually sure who it was at first.
They don't really like come out and say it by name, but it was like just one of those things where I'm like, oh, by design, and then she starts talking about love, like it must be Aphrodite.
Must be.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, all that was really interesting. The fight at the beginning with Zatara and Wonder Woman felt like it was out of a Doctor Strange comic. All that stuff was really cool.
Totally, yeah, the spiritual plane.
Yeah. No, I like Zatara's thing where he's like a man that's always on fire, so he's just a skeleton that's on fire. Like, you took Ghost Rider and like turned it to 11.
It's pretty cool. There's a little bit of a like man trapped for years or decades in the belly of a whale kind of thing with him.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, it definitely has a bit of that.
It's kind of the mystical version of that.
Yeah. No, and I'm interested to see where it goes next issue with like the whole prison thing that he has.
Yeah.
'Cause it seems like I'm guessing he's probably going to have to make like a big sacrifice, and it'll be very tragic, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I'd be very surprised if that was not the case.
Yeah. And I'll also be shocked if we don't get Barbara becoming Cheetah soon.
I keep wondering when that's going to happen, and I keep thinking, like, maybe it doesn't, because, like, we have, and we've already kind of had this conversation, but, like, we've got Cersei, where I think you and I have both kind of decided, okay, I guess she's just not a villain in this. And so maybe that
Yeah.
is it possible we have a different cheetah and it's not Barb? Like, I don't know.
But Barbara's been in the book for pretty much since the beginning too. Like,
Yeah, she's been there for a while.
Yeah.
I think last issue, because I read them together today, because I hadn't read 18 yet, and I think there's like a bit where Zatara attacks Wonder Woman, and she just like flies off, and Barbara's like, "Oh, she just left me. Like she abandoned me in the middle of all this danger." And I was like, we're starting to set those seeds.
Okay.
We're putting the crumbs in.
Yeah, maybe so.
So yeah, I feel like it's probably coming soon.
Real quick, the other thing I liked about that new plot point through flashback of like maybe people love Wonder Woman mystically is just that idea comes as late as it does, where the reader, like by this point 19 issues in, should be so enamored with her that it doesn't feel like any kind of a cheat. Like, you could not have told us that in the first arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And so I really appreciate how late that comes, because she totally deserves all the adoration and admiration that she gets. And I keep talking about how she's the Absolute's version of Superman. She's so altruistic and everyone loves her. And then now we find out there's this wrench put in that maybe. But even with that, like, she's earned all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and making that as like a place of loneliness is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's almost like a synthetic, liking that people take to you.
Yeah, and then like you're always set apart because you're like, well, I'm almost accidentally mind controlling people.
Mm-hmm. That does explain why Bruce Wayne is suddenly like more joyous than he ever is around anyone.
That's a good point. I mean, is that an idea that she had from the beginning, or is this kind of a retroactive thing that she just came up with that she's gonna try to make match the whole series up to this point? Because I'm immediately won over on the idea, but it could exist, Austin, just to explain Batman.
Well, like the idea of her getting like love from Aphrodite is just like a Wonder Woman thing, where it's like all the goddesses give like their thing to her, but we're like playing with it more obviously than we tend to do.
Well, like, as I always say, Absolute is all about excess and making everything, grander and more blatant and more, kind of on the nose. And so we're doing that with that.
Yeah, exactly. No, and speaking of the crossover thing, she gets mentioned in not the newest issue of Flash, but the one before it, and I was like, I'm excited to see Diana meet all the other Absolute characters. Like, we had Batman. I'm excited to see what her dynamic is with like Superman.
But now we know all of them are just going to be immediately, oh, I love you.
But I'm like, I feel that. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt when I read the first book,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they did the same thing in the DCEU, and it did not work, and it was creepy. Because every time she'd show up with a male character, be like, "Wow, she's so hot." Like, every time.
Oh yeah, please do not have underage Absolute Flash like have to fall onto Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
like,
we don't need that.
Let's not do that.
Please don't have her fall in love with a guy who's just possessed by her dead ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, especially that.
Some problematic elements in DCU.
Austin, why don't you run through your other books, and then I'll talk a little bit about Superman, or Spider-Man Superman.
Sure, yeah. So I'll jump straight off into Absolute Flash then, which is the end of like a little two-part story
number?
where he goes. Oh, sorry, for 14. Where he goes to the mirror dimension and deals with Mirror Master, and this is like really setting up his love interest dynamic, which I thought was cool because none of the Absolute books really have that. Maybe Green Arrow or Green Lantern does, since I haven't read it since 6. But I really like Absolute Linda Park. Their dynamic feels a lot like Ultimate Spider-Man to me in these
cool.
last 2 issues, and I thought that was really cool. And she's like coming along now for the adventure, and I thought that was fun. And there's like a whole cool sequence where, because it's like a mirror world, he like runs and he's on the ceiling, and the entire book flips around, and then it flips back, and all that was really cool. And yeah, just really enjoying that.
That's always weird in digital.
Yeah. Oh, I had to flip it out of the like panel by panel because it had no idea what it was doing. It was like, I don't know.
That's awesome. Like it'd be nice if they could program that, because I don't know if that's straight up AI at this point, or if somebody meticulously goes in and actually decides what the panel by panel is.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice if it could like just flip it upside down for you.
Yeah, it's hard to say. 'Cause,
Although, if it did that, you wouldn't even realize it was upside down.
yeah.
Gives the effect, yeah.
So what it should do is back the whole thing off. You see it's upside down, and then you click it and it zooms in and it's upside down, and then you click it again and it flips it so you can read it. That's what it should do.
That would be better than me having to be like that.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Trying to turn your iPad and then turning with it.
With a physical book in real life, obviously I'm just flipping it around, so now I'm looking at it right side up.
Mm-hmm. That is true, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how that happens, because for the most part it's good, but every now and then you'll see like a hiccup in a book digitally, panel to panel. So it could just be AI. That or they just don't care. Next up, I've got The Flash number 32, which continues from last issue, where they have this challenge where you can win now $10,000 to get saved by the Flash. And so now there are people almost killing themselves every 15 seconds.
That's great. It's still going on.
No, and there's a great part where he's having dinner with his family, and he's like, "Oh, well, thank God! Like I have a family that can appreciate the fact that I have to blip out every 15 seconds during family dinner." And we bring in Captain Cold, who has like an idea that there's something more sinister going down, and we find out that the person who made this contest is actually building a nuclear device in the city, and like that's why they're distracting the Flash. So that's kind of where we leave off. But most of this issue is just kind of fun shenanigans of what people are doing, and it gets like increasingly more insane. Where like there's one woman who like mixes chemicals in her toilet to make like a bomb so she can blow herself up in her bathroom. And while he's like, okay, I know how to fix this. I'm just gonna start like preemptively, like if you're doing a certain thing, like I'm just gonna preemptively stop you. So it's like if you're walking next to the street, he'll move you. Mm-hmm. If you're even attempting to go onto a building, he's gonna move you. Like there's a part where there's like a birthday party happening on a roof, and like they're all celebrating, and the guy, it's his birthday. He's like, like how much you want to bet we can get the Flash to show up to our party? And then just the entire birthday party basically like blips out, and now they're just on the like in a park, and they're like, ah man, like our party's ruined. So all that stuff is really fun. I'm really enjoying that book. It's really good.
The premise for that arc sounds very DCAU to me. Like that really sounds like it could have been a 2-part or 2 or 3-part Justice League or Unlimited episode.
I can see that,
yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I think I described it last time as taking something topical like a TikTok trend, but doing it in such a classical way that like it just feels like what you would do like back then if that stuff existed.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's yeah.
And it sounds like it reads on a couple of levels, so like
Yeah.
you can see the satire in it, but it's also just a story.
Just a good story too.
Yeah, exactly. No, because obviously, like it's more of like a TikTok kind of satire, and it's not specifically that, but like that idea is the original like Daily Bugle Spider-Man thing. Like that's something we've kind of always been doing. Next up, I've got Vertigo's Brutal Dark #3, which is their like noir detective book, and that's got some like twists and turns where the person he was looking for, it turns out that they were maybe okay, but maybe not really, and the Germans are involved, of course, now because of course.
Of course, yeah.
And they're possibly building like a mechanical army, which obviously they're denying. But I'm interested to see where that's going to go.
Look,
next up, I've got.
I'm not building a mechanical army is exactly what a person that built a mechanical army would be saying.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's like, remember World War One? Well, you can't say World War One because II hasn't started yet. But he's like, remember that Great War that just happened? Yeah, the Great War that just happened. Yeah, the guy that you saw, like the mechanical legs, he had his legs shot off. So
it's a little historical event. You might have heard of it. It's called World War One.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's called the French Revolution.
You kids don't know your history.
You kids
exactly.
don't
No,
know
it's
your
that
history.
meme where the time traveler shows up and is like, "Oh, World War One," and they're like, "What do you mean one?"
That was a Doctor Who episode too. It's like, what do you mean
really?
World War One? It's like, spoilers.
What drives me crazy is when people in World War II period pieces or epics will refer to it as World War II.
Oh yeah, no,
because they weren't calling it that yet. Like while it was happening.
Pearl Harbor had like a whole thing too, where like a pilot looks over and goes, "Well, it looks like we just started World War II." That is a literal line in that movie.
Well, and like I kind of get the temptation to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have any historical perspective,
yeah,
you would think, well, they've had a world war, so they would just immediately be referred to it that way.
Yeah.
People are thinking that because if World War III starts tomorrow, we are all already calling it that.
Yes.
You know why? Because there's a pattern.
There's two more.
And because World War II was so long ago that for decades people have gone, oh boy, I hope there's never a World War III. So, like, we've already named it and patented it before it even happened.
Yeah,
that's the absolute only hopefully, God forbid, it never happens, but
exactly.
but possibly inevitable future event that I can guarantee we refer to that way and not by a date.
Yes.
That will not be a 9/11. It won't be whatever well, and also probably an ongoing thing
exactly,
too.
yeah.
But even if it wasn't, if it was done in one day, it would still be referred to as World War III because we've been calling it that for 60 years.
Yeah. Well, that's like a running joke I do sometimes where it's like you talk about people on September 11th and they're like, oh my God, turn the TV on, 9/11's happening.
Yeah.
No.
Next up, I've got
people that do stuff like that should not be allowed to write fiction. Okay.
No, that's a great line. That'd be a great line of dialogue.
Exactly, yeah.
Turn on the TV. 9/11 is happening.
There's a whole September 11th going on.
All right. What do you have next?
You look up, you're like, oh my God, 9/11's happening right now.
Oh.
All right. What's your next?
Void Rivals #29.
Austin sent me some panels from this, and I wish I was caught up in reading this book because I really want to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's on the cover. You'll get to see some of it, but we do the trial from Transformers the movie, which was fun.
So much yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, that whole war is turning around, and I think next issue is the last one for that arc. So I'm like, I don't even know how we're gonna end this. Like, everything's bad right now.
Yeah.
Is this just going to end poorly?
Everyone,
yeah.
the entire supporting cast is dead.
I mean,
To make characters
maybe.
spin out a little bit, yeah.
Maybe they all get enslaved.
There's
It is
nobody
possible.
left to be rivals.
Well, it'll just be the Quintessons. It'll just be about them now.
The next arc is just the Quintessons as the protagonists.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how much of that I could read. Like, I love the Quintessons. I don't know if I can read a whole book from their perspective.
No, it'd be great.
That like crackly text that they have, I've got to read that on every page.
Yeah, it'd be wonderful.
All right.
No, and it seems like Cobra Law might have something to do with it because we're kind of dealing with stuff with them too. They've been in the book for a little bit, and they might tie into how they win. So yeah, it looks like there might be some shenanigans next issue. But yeah, this continues to just be a really fun book. This arc's basically just been all action, so like there's not like a ton of like deep story happening, but like it's really fun.
Nicholas Photo, do you find them hard to relate to? Yes, I don't find the Quintessons especially relatable.
They're just like me.
They're not your basis for parenting. You're not like, child, you are guilty or innocent.
You know who
Innocent.
You know who can relate to the Quintessons though? The Kryptonian Council from the '78 Superman movie.
Guilty.
They say Man of Steel, but them too.
Yeah,
them,
them
yeah.
too, yeah.
He's like,
Absolutely.
Well, they're just giant floating heads, all of them.
Yeah, imagine how cool Superman 4 would be if instead of that one random counselor guy in the fortress, it was like the Quintesson tribunal guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I forgot
it'd be
about
awesome.
that guy.
Right.
That's so funny. That watch is like, well, we ran out of parents. Who do we have left? Random council man.
Well, there's also that part where he just repeats the same phrase over and over again.
I've been kind of
which
itching to
reminds
rewatch
me-
Superman 4. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, which reminds me, because I've been catching up to Williamson Superman. I'm not fully caught up yet, but I'm almost there. And in the big Brainiac story, because like throughout that book, in Superman, like the Supercorp thing, Lex is like set up like his own version of Jor-El. It's like a hologram that's like, oh, my son, like you can ask me things and I'll answer. And Superman's like, he's perverted Jor-El basically. And then in the Brainiac arc,
great.
it's the first time Lex sees it, and he's just like, what the hell is that? And they're like, what do you mean you set that up? And it turns into Brainiac. And it was like, oh, he set it up there the whole time. It's awesome. It's so cool. But anyways, my last book for the week is Phantom of the Opera #3. And this issue goes into the backstory of the Phantom, where the acid was thrown on his face, and now he's trying to get like his own play into the theater, and that's why he's been killing people. And it gets pretty dark, and has like a super graphic ending where he like massacres a ton of people. It's really cool.
Sometimes I just want to take things you say out of context.
Yeah,
And then post them somewhere like, he massacred a lot of people. It was really cool.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Put that on the box of the Daily News.
The pull quote there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad all of those have been of a quality. Because the way you talked about them, like I've only read the Creature one, but the way you've talked about them, it sounds like none of them are like a terrible weak link yet. Like you really liked Invisible Man, and
Yeah.
No, I'd say probably the weakest so far was the Mummy, but like I have that just normally, and the Mummy ended like really well, so I'm like, Oh, but like it's still really good. Like
Yeah.
it's probably the weakest one, but out of books that aren't bad. Like
Right.
Well,
they're all pretty great.
Yeah.
name. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there, but like, whose favorite Universal monster is the Mummy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of just
And
correct. Like I think you can tell the best possible Mummy story, and it's not likely to be anybody's absolute favorite.
I mean, the only real Mummy movie.
There's
that's-
people who even put the Wolfman at the top, but I don't see it with the Mummy.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like Universal monsters, no one really starts caring about the Mummy until like the '90s movie with Brendan Fraser too.
Yeah,
that's
and-
the one people always reference.
But
No,
that,
it's really
but at that
interesting
point, it's
that
just
it's the
action
only one
movie
to find
schlock.
a remake.
Nobody loves that because
Yeah.
of the Mummy.
Yeah,
they love it for just the action schlock.
Right.
But it's like the actual character.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah. No, well, I think part of it too is like the Mummy is so like defined by a specific point in time where it was
Yeah.
like we discovered this thing. We're like, oh, that's scary, and we like
Yeah.
learned more about it. And I think you can still do something with that because like the idea of being mummified is still horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but like I don't know. I also feel like we're kind of trepidatious for it, which is how you get stuff like that new Mummy movie that just came out that's just an Exorcist movie.
Right.
Where it's like, I feel like we're a little worried about going like, look at this other culture that's scary. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if we would really delve into the Egyptian lore, like, you'd really have something there.
Yeah, I mean, Egypt has really nuanced and complicated lore too, and really like unique. And I mean, sometimes too, you have the stories about like Osiris and what happened to him and what he couldn't find after getting chopped up, and then you have like Set, and there's a story about how his cabbages were defiled and stuff like that. There's weird stuff out there, stuff you can really like dive into, just on a number of different levels.
No, and I think that's where Skybound like picked the right idea, which is like really honing in on the like romantic element of the original movie.
Yeah. And I know that that book was written and drawn by Faith Erin Hicks, who's done like a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, she's mostly known for like YA stuff and like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but a lot of that stuff is really good. And she's written like a lot of like books with romance, and like she just had like a book that was called like Drama Boy Loves Hockey Girl that came out. So she's got familiarity with a lot of, you know, just romantic comics too.
But how popular is she for her Twitter?
She isn't on. Look,
would be my question.
She doesn't have a Twitter. I mean, she's got like a basic Twitter, and I don't think she's big on TikTok either, like Stephanie Phillips.
No, for sure.
It was
but yeah,
rhetorical.
Yeah, the internet.
That was rhetorical.
Let's talk about the social medias, kids. Kids on Friendster.
But yeah, I love all those books, and I'm very excited for June where they're starting. Williamson's doing the Wolfman, and I'm really excited to see what he does with that.
Is that the last one? Have they done?
No, so that's the last one of like they've done all the monsters, but like
that's
they
what
keep
I meant.
hammering.
I'm sure they'll keep
Oh
going.
yeah,
But I just meant is that I wasn't keeping track real well. Is that the last monster they haven't tackled?
yeah. Unless you count Bride of Frankenstein, which is like obviously not exactly like its own thing, but like I imagine they'll probably do a Bride book.
Am I? Yeah. Apparently, according to the chat, James Rolfe really likes the Mummy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I
James
still don't
Rolfe's
even know
also,
if that's his favorite.
Yeah.
yeah, no, and I like the Mummy. It's
Yeah,
just
man.
of them, it's my least favorite
Yeah,
of the
like the
Universal
Universal
monsters
monsters.
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mostly fine. Like of the original films, his is the weakest. It's fine.
Yeah.
I always thought it would be fun to do in a Mummy movie where the big twist at the end is that the Mummy and the Invisible Man are the same character.
Oh.
I think I remember you talking about that on like an After Dark, maybe.
Oh, I didn't know if I ever brought that up, but
Yeah.
it seems right there to me.
It's the first time I've heard it, so there we
both,
go.
They both have to wrap themselves up completely.
Yeah.
It feels like you could do that.
I mean, that's a fun idea.
There's a plot right there.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so besides Absolute Wonder Woman, the only major thing I have from last week is Spider-Man Superman. I also read Sonic 86, which I never have anything to say about the series. Like, I buy this for the kids, and I will read them once, and they're fine. But they're still doing fun things with Sage, and there's this like mysterious villain in the background, and literally on this cover in the background, that is controlling Metal Sonic through part of this. And then there's this weird moment where it's revealed to Sonic who this character is, and he's like, "That's impossible." And then the story resolves, and they don't tell you who it is. And I don't know if I just don't know enough about Sonic lore where, like, I'm supposed to have got enough clues I know who it is too, or if they're saving the reveal for the rest of us, but it was very strange. And, like, I personally don't know who it is. I think you're supposed to guess at it, because Sonic's like, well, it's somebody who's dead. And I'm like, well, I can't think of anybody that's dead that's who that could be.
Big the cat, dude.
Oh, okay, all right.
Cat, yeah.
So I don't know. Like, in a lot of ways, this isn't for me because I missed a lot of it in the middle when I wasn't buying comics currently, and but like I still love the art and it's fun to look at. And Metal Sonic's like my favorite Sonic thing, so it's always exciting when he shows up. And they had to team up for a bit. They always do fun things because Metal Sonic doesn't talk. Where Sonic will just, like, talk at Metal Sonic. He'll just have this irritated look on his face, like, stop talking, because I don't talk, and I'm irritated at you for talking at me. That's always fun. But, anyway.
It's like, gosh, Jaleel White, stop talking.
I was going to say, he died as he lived, rolling around at the speed of sound. Places.
And they're using Sage to humanize Eggman, like, slightly, which was a thing that we were doing at the very start of the series, and it's kind of brought it full circle. So that's nice. But anyway, nobody cares about that. But I read that, and those are the only other things I really read this week that were new from last week. And like I said, I already talked about Absolute Batman, so that's the other new thing I bought. So just 4. Superman, Spider-Man. You guys are going to be surprised maybe to hear me say this. I'm sorry, Spider-Man, Superman, because this is the Marvel one. Right. Surprisingly, this time Marvel wins.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
This one's a little better than the DC one. They are closer to on par quality wise than the gigantic chasm we had between the Deadpool Batmans, where DC, especially that initial opening story, was it Morrison?
Morrison did the DC. It was
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was Paul guy that did the Marvel.
Right, but I'm just talking about the DC one. Right. We're like that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Marvel's was off a cliff. Not great. Well, with Spider-Man, Superman, it's a better opening story than what you had with the DC one. It's Brad Meltzer of all people, who I've not seen in a very long time, and it's kind of interesting to see him come back for a thing like this. Meltzer, a lot of us know for Identity Crisis. He's had a bigger novel writing career than he has in comics. I actually own a couple of Brad Meltzer novels. I've never read them.
Yeah.
I think he does mostly, like, maybe crime stuff.
Crime stuff, and, like, I want to say legal stuff. I haven't read any of his novels, but I know a little bit of them.
Yeah.
The most I know of him outside his comic stuff is he had a TV show for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of one of those, like, the Travel Channel things where they're going and finding, like, mysteries, but, like, there were, like, 3 other folks that went to the places, and he just sort of, like, he was like the chief in Carmen Sandiego, where he's like, all right, there's a mystery, go find it. And so, like, these 3 other folks would go to wherever the mystery was.
And then the Arrowverse would have been like, look, the stuff that you've been working on is just not superhero
not enough,
for
man.
us.
No, you do, like, Travel Channel shows. You're good. You do, like, this museum. That's
I was going to ask you who worked on that, because like I heard the announcement for the DC one. Well, this one just kind of snuck up on me where I didn't even realize it was coming out. I haven't heard anything about this. Like, I don't know what the stories are. I don't know who worked on it.
Well, I'll run through it and give you the quick breakdown of these. I'm not going to do like gigantic reviews of each of these stories, and as these always are, once you get past the feature, they're like 3-4 pages, and there's not a whole lot to most of them. But I think even the backup features, some of them are like slightly more compelling and interesting than what we did with DC. But I will say DC was a little bit more varied in like the fun blend of characters that we did. So it's always like Spider-Man and Superman adjacent characters, and here we go a little too far off the beaten path with at least one of them. Like Jason Aaron comes in and does one that's Jane Foster Thor with I forget who it even was. It was Jane Foster. Sorry, I read this just before the show. It was sorry, give me a second. Oh, and Wonder Woman. It was like it didn't have anything to do with Superman and Spider-Man, like at all.
Well, it sounds like because that's what the Batman Deadpool one is, but
Yeah.
like by crossing Batman and Deadpool, you're not giving yourself a ton of options. So like I feel like that was a big part of it. Whereas
Yeah.
like DC, I guess, less so Marvel, are more excited about like here's all the different things in Spider-Man and Superman you can cross over.
Well, it just felt like that was the mission statement with both companies, because the consistent thing, even though the DC one was like several rungs better with Deadpool and Batman, they both did that though. Like even DC is it wasn't all Batman and Deadpool stuff. Like all the backups were random, unrelated things, and here Marvel did it once, and then everything else is adjacent to Spider-Man. So it's strange. Like we've got one. Sorry, I'll get to the A story here in a second, but we've got one with like Steel and is it Supergirl? No, it's Steel fighting Hobgoblin, and then there's another. This one's kind of fun. There's
you get Armored Spider-Man.
No, so you think there's another Superman character coming. It's like, oh, there's a red cape in the background, and then at the end the reveal is, oh, it's Thor. And
okay.
That's what they did with that. But it was Louise Simonson who wrote it, and so like once you know who's writing it, it's like, well, that's why Thor is there.
Yeah.
So
well, and you got like the hammer.
Yes, and they make kind of a big deal out of that. Well, and then with the Jane Foster thing, she's trying to get Wonder Woman to take the hammer because she's like, I'm not really worthy of it, and you make a lot more sense to wield the hammer than I do. And then there's a Stephanie Phillips one that's Supergirl with Spider-Gwen, with a Ghost Spider fighting Livewire, and that one was a little lame, and the end of it's really odd, where like they're just kind of at odds, they don't really like each other, and then at the end, Supergirl reveals that she has more appreciation for, like, they're both trying to one up each other and prove that they don't need the other one to fight Livewire, and then you get to the end, and Supergirl proves her affection for Ghost Spider by dropping off into the street in autograph. And I'm like, okay. She's like, I really like you. I'm gonna write my name in a nice little note, like a famous person you have to pay $100 for at a comic book convention.
Johnny Cage here? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That was odd.
Carl
Anyway,
Urban, the new movie.
let me talk about this Meltzer story. So it's Brad Meltzer with art by Pepe Larraz. I also want to mention that the art in this overall is fine, but the DC one while some of the stories weren't great, and that opening story was real by the numbers, kind of exactly what you would expect, real splashy and exciting art, like almost all the way through it. Just an absolute showcase. Could have been a poster book. I almost didn't need anybody to talk in it. This one, and I'm surprised to be saying this with a Marvel book, but like the stories are a little bit more compelling, and they seem to be focusing a lot more on like the similarities in philosophy and worldview between Spider-Man and Superman, and getting into how Superman's not that far off from the power responsibility thing with Spider-Man. That like he just didn't have to learn it in the hard way the way Spider-Man did. And the stories altogether seem a little bit more kind of focused on that idea, where they've got kind of a thematic through that makes it almost more of one singular piece than any of these have been. But the art, like, it's all good, but nothing's just wowing me like with DC. They just got some of that like hit me sideways, where I was like, I'm not in love with these kind of anthology things. And I keep saying this, like, I want these to be longer. I want them to be miniseries. I want them to be one story. But well, I don't even want to say longer. You could take this page count and tell one story and have plenty of real estate. I mean, you absolutely could do that. But I mean, you know, a 3-4 issue miniseries would also be nice. But anyway, but none of the art was just, you know, hitting me sideways. The Brad Meltzer story is fun because it's kind of unpredictable, and it's not exactly what you're expecting. And a lot of it is just Superman and Spider-Man like buried underground, trying to get out because Superman is on kryptonite, and I make that sound like a drug. And they're kind of sizing each other up. Like, Superman doesn't really know Spider-Man at this point, I guess. And he's like making sure that Spider-Man doesn't have the kryptonite on him because he doesn't know where the kryptonite is coming from. And then it turns out that there's a team up. We see like one panel of them, so we don't even really get into the villain stuff. We just know like what causes the situation, where you have Lex teaming up with the Green Goblin, which is kind of an obvious pairing, but it's at least not the exact pairing from the original Superman and Spider-Man, which is what you had with the last one. I don't know if it was the exact pairing, but like it was Doc Ock again, and people thought that was weird.
Yeah, it is the same pairing. I remember you saying that at the time.
I thought it was, but I haven't actually read that thing cover to cover, and I was just going off of stuff I had heard, so I wanted to make sure I was right about that. But anyway, the big kind of selling point for this is that you get to see Superman for a little bit merged with the Venom symbiote. And that's kind of fun. I mean, I don't love the design of it, and the face is weird, but like he merges with the Venom symbiote for a little bit, and then right at the end, or toward the end, Superman like gets his wits about him, and he's able to get rid of the Venom symbiote, and he does the classic like smash his hands together thing, and then the sonic blast of that gets rid of the Venom symbiote. And I don't know, that's kind of fun. But they use the Venom symbiote to mind meld Superman and Spider-Man so that they know everything about each other. So there's a moment where before it fully takes over Superman, it kind of grabs both of them, which is sort of convenient, but it lets them do kind of a Vulcan mind meld where they like download kind of everything about each other, and that gets them closer. And then at the end, they all go to the Kent farm, and then like Martha and Aunt May become best friends, and so I don't know. He has some fun with this. I thought we were in trouble when on the opening page, Superman and Spider-Man are both making fun of the names of their respective arch nemesis, and I was like, ooh, we're in like an MCU place. Like immediately. Where it's like, oh, Luthor, that sounds stupid. Well, Otto Octavius, that sounds even stupider. And I'm like, what are we doing? And how is it Brad Meltzer writing this? And it immediately...
Norman Osborn, what is with your hair?
it
Why does your skull
immediately
have the
goes
hair?
uphill after that. Thank goodness. The second story is the coolest one conceptually, and it's kind of like that 2099 Batman Beyond thing from the DC one, where I just wanted it to get to be a whole book.
Yeah.
And we don't really get anywhere with it because there's not any time, to do anything. But we do a Spider-Man noir story, and of all people, it's Dan Slott. but it's okay. And the winner here is the artist, which is Marcos Martin, who's not somebody I know right away. But I thought the art was cool, and so we set it in 1938, and we have the Golden Age Superman teaming up with Spider-Man Noir with Lex Luthor as the Kingpin, and I'm like, can I just get that?
Yeah, I know, that sounds amazing.
That's fun, but it's 4 pages and we don't do anything with it, so it's really just, here's a neat concept. And then we do Joe Kelly had the weakest one. We do the obligatory put the girlfriends together so they can compare each other's boyfriend. We did exactly the same thing in the DC one.
Right.
It wasn't good there. It's worse here. Made even doubly worse. So it's Lana Lang with is it Gwen Stacy? Yeah.
Looks like, yeah.
And it's made worse by the fact that it's Humberto Ramos, who I just have never cared for.
Right.
And he draws very ugly faces, and especially people laughing. I hate it when Humberto Ramos has people laughing.
Marvel should have had Bendis do Lois Lane and Jessica Jones. That would have been cool.
Ooh,
that would have been cool. Bendis is here.
Oh, okay. And I remember he was rumored to be doing the main book for a while. So that is interesting. He is on it.
And I'm glad he didn't, because I don't like his Superman, and neither does any
Yeah, I gave it a couple issues.
But he somewhat predictably comes in and does a Miles Morales thing. But with Superman, you'd think it'd be maybe Superboy or something, but it's like, well, no, he had a big Superman run. It's like nobody likes his Superman.
I would have thought you would do Miles and. Is it all new Superman? The Chinese Superman.
Oh, that
not that it has to be the minority one, but you know what I mean. That'd be an interesting idea.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody has touched that character since that book ended.
He's in Williamson's run.
Oh, is he? Cool.
Nice.
He is. Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know this. I love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I ever finished it. I own every issue of that series. And
sorry, I say that because he showed up in the Brainiac one. He might technically be in Action Comics and not the main Superman Williamson book, but
that's fine, because it means that he's still around and somebody's right, and it's probably not the original writer that created him. I don't know that.
No, because I didn't know it was in continuity. I always assumed that was an Elseworld.
Oh no, it's in continuity, and that writer, I can never remember his name, but that's the guy doing Ninja Turtles right now. That's the guy doing that spectacular, amazing current IDW run. And I was curious about it immediately because I liked that writer. But the reason I didn't immediately jump on it is I didn't love the look of the villain until I found out what it was. And I didn't love that artist. And I massively turned around on him. So anyway. But he's great. Maybe I'll put the first arc of that on the wheel at some point.
Cool.
But yeah, so like I said, Jeff Johns, or not Jeff. Sorry, Jeff Johns is also here, which is weird. I don't know why he's doing a story for the Marvel one.
Yeah.
And as you might expect, his is just insanely too involved for how little real estate he has here. I don't even remember exactly what happens here, except there's this kind of nice heartfelt speech that Superman has with Ben Grimm and with the Hulk. He does this cool thing where the Hulk gets controlled kind of by Red Lantern energy.
Okay.
And he is still like regular Hulk. It might have been fun to do a Red Hulk because of Red Lanterns, but we didn't do that. But it was kind of a cool idea, and Superman has to talk the Hulk down just through diplomacy, and it works because he's Superman, and because it's under Jeff Johns' pen, like you actually kind of buy it, and it sort of works. But anyway, yeah, like overall, I actually liked this marginally above the DC one, which I'm really surprised that I'm saying that. And I bought the variant cover with Cyborg Superman and the kind of cyborgy Spider-Man because those are both things that are very nostalgic for me. And I was sad that we didn't do a story like this. That would have been cool. But at least I have it on a cover, so that is nice.
I was thinking when you were talking about, making the stories longer, if you're going to do only one issue each, it would maybe be an interesting idea that you do two-parters, but like, obviously one company starts it, and it's like, you don't plan it in advance, like you just go, okay, we made, this is the start of the story, now finish it.
I love that.
We almost like hand the baton. That'd be a cool idea.
Under completely different creative teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you would still have that tradition of each company does one, but they don't have to be completely unrelated. That's a great idea. That's never been
do
done,
some sort of big
knowledge.
cliffhanger, and it's like, okay, DC, now, like, how do they get out of this cliffhanger? And then, the next one, okay, Marvel, like, how do you get out of this cliffhanger? That'd be a cool idea.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
a telephone almost.
And I would say, like, the only mandate for it would probably be, and this might just happen naturally, but it'd be like, you'd focus a little harder on your Marvel character at Marvel. And then when you go to DC and you finish the story, you'd focus a little harder on the DC character.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say you could maybe see it like flip to where like maybe whoever's at DC's like, as my chance to write Spider-Man, he's gonna get a little bit more involved on my side, and then maybe the other way around. But...
Unless you do something weird and you decide it's the Marvel book, but we're gonna bring Jeff Johns in.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Has he written like much for Marvel at all?
Ever?
Too? Yeah, ever. I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
Racking my brain here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's such like a big DC guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things I bought last week. Let me read comments real quick. Side-scrolling hero. What if it was a character crossover and each character was only drawn by their respective artist on every page? What do you mean, like, you assign an artist?
Where it's like whoever's like the Spider-Man artist, they draw the Spider-Man stuff, and then whoever's the Superman artist draws Superman. You don't exactly have this, but there is an element of this in the original Superman Spider-Man book where I think they had just like a default artist, and then I think Romita Sr. and maybe Neil Adams, I can't remember, like come in and kind of clean up stuff on their respective characters. So I think like that kind of an idea too, even.
I think that's almost more fun. I mean, like if you did it now, if you took whoever the big current artists were on the main books for those characters, and that's who you used. Mm-hmm. And that'd be kind of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah. Or just...
He said he was just making a joke about Image United, but this could be a thing.
Image United, okay. But that was over my head, because I didn't realize they did that there. Yeah. I owned an issue or two of that before I sold my Spawn collection, but I don't think I ever actually sat down and read it.
Yeah, I've never looked at that.
Anyway, other stuff I bought last week. I've got a little bit of a stack, but I haven't read any of this, so I'll just run through it and show you what I bought, as I always do. I bought a random issue of Simpsons comics. This is 113. This is from the mid-2000s. And I read a few pages of this. I haven't finished it, but this stuff is very often like wonderfully authentic to the series. And this is during a period where the show's not good. But if you didn't see the date on it, you would think this came out in the mid-90s. Like it absolutely could have been an episode. And the reason I bought this was because it was in the dollar bin, and like it's not in the best shape, but like it's solid and it's a good reader copy, and it has. It still has the poster in it, even though it was in the dollar bin. And the poster is a Christmas poster with Radioactive Man. Yeah. And I was like, well, I would buy that for $1. Yeah. Look at that, Chris.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's very nice.
Isn't that cool?
That's great, yeah.
So that's my cool dollar find from last week. And then... this was my most expensive buy from the last week. This is just a $15 book, but this is the first issue of Venom versus Carnage, also from mid 2000s, maybe 03 or 04. This is Peter Milligan, and this is a very nostalgic cover for me because, and I've never read this. And I've never really seen this in the wild, and my shop had like 4 copies.
Yeah.
But somebody, I guess, just came in and had a bunch of these. And anyway, it's a nostalgic image for me because my wife loves Venom and the Symbiotes, which sounds like a 60s rock band.
They were an American Bandstand yesterday. Top of the pops.
But we had a poster in my wife's apartment when I was in college of this cover. And so when I found this last week, I sent my wife a message, and I was like, I finally bought that book. And so she was very excited about that. And then I got Tales of the Sinestro Corps Cyborg Superman #1. This is from 2007. And I think this is just a couple of years before the big Green Lantern Corps series where Cyborg Superman was a major villain in it. This is around the time that he starts becoming a Green Lantern villain real prominently. And I think this isn't, but I think the series I'm talking about was also Peter Milligan, which I just happened to bring up. And then I mentioned this last night on the Captain Logan show, but here is Batman One Bad Day Clayface #1. And I may try to review this in some capacity soon. I started reading it the other day, and I've not finished it yet. The art in this is fantastic, but just really good timing.
Yeah, the trailer.
This came out just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, just a couple of years ago. This is pretty new. This is like 23, I think. These came out, and Austin.
I think Tom King worked on at least one of them. Yeah, I've always wanted to try those, and just never got around to it.
Yeah, I hadn't either. They're all.
I've never heard anybody talk about them, so like I don't know what the consensus.
No, and it's weird because they're like prestige format. Or prestige format, like they're pretty thick. They look like they could have been Black Label things, but they're not.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few.
They were $8 books. I got this at a flea market for better than half price, so that was exciting. But I thought the cover was really cool, and I was like, the timing is too good. I have to have this. And then that same flea market had a bunch of Power Ranger variants for $1 a piece. I usually pay $4 for these, so that was pretty exciting. So some of these are issues that I had already, and I don't always do that, but I was like, it's $1, so I just bought covers I didn't have. So anyway, so I'll just go through these real quick. But here's this weird variant that's like Tommy, like as manga styled as we can possibly make it, real pencily. Here's a Thunder Sword cover that's really pretty. And then some Omega Ranger stuff. That's a nice cover. Here's a weird Bulk and Skull cover. I would not have bought that for $4, but it was in the stack and it was cheap, so I got that. Oh, and then I also bought Absolute Superman 11 because I love this cover, and I almost bought that when it came out, and then I missed it. And now that I'm backtracking, I found it again, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna finally buy that. So anyway, that's everything I got last week.
And Absolute Brainiac is wonderful.
Yeah, he's definitely up there in their best villains. And now it's time for this week's cover of the week, Chris. You got to work on that theme song, man.
You know, it's work in progress. We're workshopping it. It's in previews right now.
You really got to work on that. Okay, it's time for the cover of the week. It's Supergirl number 41. We had to shake the phone 4 times last time. We just could not get a cover that made sense for the show right now in this time, this point in time, and we don't have to. We already know what we're doing next time, so we don't even have to shake the phone this time. But Austin and I did the first arc of Peter David Supergirl not too long ago. It's a really odd but intriguing premise. It's a much like darker and kind of rough and tumble book than you would expect. And Austin, I wondered as it went along if it would hold on to that tone. And just based on this issue, it does.
Yeah.
This is the same book 41 issues in.
Yeah.
It's a book that deals
no,
with.
this is very much the same book, but like we've jumped so far ahead that it's like, oh my god, what is happening?
I have no idea what the hell is happening. Yeah,
but it's cool. like I assume it all adds up.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Somebody, like I was used to have that with Spawn, except here I trust it, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, my big shock, and I looked it up. I guess she's only in the issue before in this issue, but we introduce Satan Girl, who is like an old Silver Age Supergirl villain that is Supergirl hit with red kryptonite, and I was like, I didn't know she existed in this period.
Okay.
And she's a different character, like just Matrix Supergirl and everything around her is so weird.
Super weird. I need you to explain this issue to me. I don't fully understand what's happening. There's some kind of time travel shenanigans.
Just swapping bodies, you know.
It took me a minute, and then once I got kind of in the groove of like, okay, this is what's happening, I was with it.
Like I got bits of it, but I wasn't sure how any of this got started. And
that I'm not sure about. That could be anything.
Yeah,
but.
I thought we were in a Quantum Leap episode.
A little bit, it felt like that too. There's witches.
No, this is the case where we're reading the story of what I just pitched of like the 2-issue thing, where we're reading how they responded to the cliffhanger.
A little bit,
and then once I kind of get an idea of what's happening, I'm like, oh, this story seems really cool. But yeah, so basically, Supergirl and a woman that was burned at the stake as a witch swapped places last issue, and now that woman has to decide if she's fully willing to take Supergirl's life or if she's willing to go back and die where she was supposed to, and she has to deal with that. And Satan Girl's like, Mwahaha, Supergirl's gonna die. And that girl is also an angel. It was like a fallen angel. And yeah.
And there's already a lot of like angel iconography with this character in this book. There's kind of some paralleling happening with the Supergirl's origin and like how she like in that first arc merged with another character to become this version with all that identity stuff.
No, exactly. So it was like we jumped 40 issues ahead and she's still merging with people.
Yeah.
It's a slow process.
Yeah, that part of it made sense to me because that's how she like became this character in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Well, and apparently I think her friend from those early issues is now a witch in the present day.
Yeah, is that what's going on?
Yeah. So that
is,
really escalated.
But yeah, you have all these places where like we keep switching which face we're looking at.
Yeah.
And that's confusing at first until you fully understand what's going on. Like, oh, that's why we keep seeing this other person in a Supergirl costume.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it looks like Supergirl and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. And even there's the scene where she's looking in the mirror seeing like a blonde girl.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, we're doing the Spawn thing. She's like, I'm not white.
Yes. Well, and we said this even with the first arc, but like once again, there is quite a bit of Spawn in this.
Yeah.
No, I'm still convinced that this entire book exists because Peter David was like, Todd, I'm going to show you how to write.
Chris, what did you think of this issue?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I did kind of have the same where
you
can
have
tell
no idea what the hell happened.
A little bit. I won't lie. I did kind of like speed through it. But I was like, all right, I see somebody's getting burned at the stake. I see there's a witch. All right, I'm good.
He's like, been here, done this.
Been here, done this, you know?
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it, but it also was very much like we've had this before, where you're like dropped in the middle of a story arc. So
we do this a lot on the show.
You take the ball, you kind of run with it. I've been training.
You just walked into a movie's climax.
Exactly. It's like, yep, just a good solid 1 hour into this film. We can.
I thought we had kind of a clever way to keep the Supergirl costume in the book. Because if you didn't do that, you wouldn't even know what, just looking at it, what book you were reading.
You might think it's a Vertigo book.
It wouldn't even look like this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you easily could have told this story without seeing the suit at all.
Yeah. Right.
And, like, I felt like there was kind of a contrived way to get it in there so that it still looked like this book. Yeah. Almost like that's maybe an editorial mandate.
Yeah.
Well, and I really liked Supergirl's speech near the end, where they get to finally communicate to each other.
Yeah.
And that one girl's like, oh, I don't know if, like, I can just, like, give up my life like that. Like, it would be nice to live. And Supergirl's like, I'm not going to beg for my life. Like, at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's whatever you think is right or wrong. Right. That whole thing I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Well, luckily she did the right thing so that, the timeline gets put back together. There maybe wasn't enough.
Oh, Supergirl 100% is like, oh, thank God.
I know, yeah. Less time travel shenanigans to worry about.
Like,
I continue life as a being of goo.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but also, like, morality on a personal level, I totally get, like, oh, it's your choice. But, like, on a cosmic level, I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows? She's goo. She slept with Lex Luthor.
Just gooing around.
Who knows what her place in the universe is?
Well, anyway, as we already announced earlier, we've already got our cover of the week for next time, so we're going to read the first appearance of the Punisher as we celebrate the life of Jerry Conway. And now we're going to get into our featured book, and usually we do miniseries or the first arc of an ongoing, but this time when we spun the wheel, we wound up with a 27-page one-shot that Chris put on the wheel, so we got to be really lazy this time, and we didn't have to read as much, but this time let me pull this up real quick. We're gonna be looking at Darkhold Iron Man. This is a one-shot from a series of one-shots during some sort of Darkhold event. I have no idea what was going on with this. It's not really important to enjoy what's happening here. This reads like a what if more than anything.
Yeah.
That's basically like the origin of Iron Man as a like EC Comics like body horror kind of pulp thing.
It's even had a lot of like
Cronenberg's Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's even like there's a lot of Lovecraft in it too. You mentioned pulps and a lot of body horror is the right word, and like him being really comfortable with his flesh melting, being really excited. Like, I'm sorry, your skull is dissolving. You can't exist outside the armor. That's fine. That's great.
My skull's made of metal. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
it's better.
Don't get too ahead of us here. So, this is Ryan North, who we keep reading stuff by this guy, and I've been a little bit hit and miss with Ryan North.
Right.
My biggest takeaway from this is I want to see an Iron Man run.
Yes.
From this guy. I loved his voice for the character, even in this kind of, wacky, terrifying alternate universe. I wanted this story itself to be fleshed out and last longer.
Fleshed out.
Yes, exactly. What's done here is, I think, pretty excellent and works pretty well as a self-contained one-shot. And again, it felt very, like, anthology pulp to me. And that works great. But I also could see 100 pages of this really easily.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my, like, only criticism. And if you're going to have a criticism, it's a good one to have. I want more of this.
Yeah.
Like, 100%. Screw whatever was happening around this. This should have been the event.
And I'll tell you right now, this is the only one of the Darkhold books I read, and that's because I heard this was like the best out of all of them.
I was going to ask you if you saw any of the others. And...
Nope.
Yeah, well, I mean, none of them could be number 3s.
Exactly,
They're all one shot.
And you know, I broke. I think technically this is the 3rd in the series. I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Austin?
No, I quickly, glanced at descriptions for the other ones, and most of them just didn't sound interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man's was, he looked into the Darkhold and his brain snapped, so now he's crazy. And I'm like, oh.
So
after reading this, I want to see what Spider-Man's equivalent of this is.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, the obvious thing to do with Spider-Man would be, and I mean, we've done what ifs like this, but you just go full tilt Man Spider.
Yeah.
Or something like it, right? Like, maybe keep enough of his wits about him that he looks like Man Spider, but he's having to run around trying to prove to people that he's still Peter Parker, but he can't communicate with anyone, so they just think he's a monster, and so he's kind of stuck just effectively living out in the woods like he's a man thing or something,
right?
But he's still fully it's not hard to write something real tragic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And especially with Spider-Man, a lot of the Man Spider stuff, you've seen that in the mainline book, so you have a little bit of a template that you could riff off of too.
Well, that's not even all you could do. I mean, there's plenty of other things.
Yeah.
To I don't know, you can make him buried alive even longer than Craven's last time. I don't know.
He's buried an extra day.
Austin, break down the story a little bit for us, would you?
Yeah. So basically, this kind of jumps into the early Iron Man status quo, where we open up with Tony having to charge his suit, and they find him and they're taking the suit off. And back then, it wasn't just the arc reactor like it is in the movie. He has to wear the whole chest piece. So we're jumping off of that, where you can't remove that entire section, and they're all trying to work out how they can get that off of him. And just slowly, as things go on, he needs more of the suit, and pretty soon he can't exist without the suit, and then completely separates himself from everybody, and then goes full lizard where he wants to put other people in suits.
I don't want to cure cancer, I just want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
No, I hate to say it, but I read this shortly after it came out, and reading it again now, I've gotten more familiar with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. So when he's like, I'm going to put you in the suit, it's I hate that that's my first point of reference. That's what my brain jumped to.
I knew I thought you were going to say, I think it would be okay, I picked this because I liked it when I read it, and I went back to it, and it's not very good. No. That's where I thought that was going.
No, I still enjoyed it.
One of those kids.
Yeah.
You're becoming one of those kids that sees Darth Vader and they're like, oh, it's that guy from Fortnite.
Oh.
Austin, I really appreciated the kind of tightrope that Ryan North is walking here, where it's the 60s status quo, but it's updated in the right believable kinds of ways, where it's it's not irritatingly modern, but it's also not cutesy throwback.
Yeah.
He's in exactly the right midpoint.
But I also feel like he's really good with that kind of thing, because he's also doing that new Flash, which is exactly how I described that.
Yeah.
That's how I've heard people describe his FF. It sounds like he's just the right guy to hit that exact voice.
He knows how to go back to the classic stuff, but still make it a modern story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
His early FF issues too. Honestly, that first issue felt like an episode of The Outer Limits or The Twilight Zone, where you had like the town that was in the time loop. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's I think he's got a knack for like that classic storytelling, but through like a modern lens.
The other thing I loved about this is it, and I don't know that it would be sustainable in the same way that the original Iron Man story was, but in a weird way, this could have been Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if Stan Lee had approached Tony Stark more the way he approached, and even just tonally and like going real tragic, the way he approached Bruce Banner, this could have been Iron Man. It's like,
for sure.
He just went real to the nines literal with it, where it's like it's a man trapped in a suit. He becomes more machine than man. Decides that he to completely embrace being trapped in it, and it's taking that initial concept and going like totally full tilt with it. If he had approached it as a monster comic like the Hulk,
right,
as opposed to approaching it like a superhero comic, this could have just been Iron Man.
Yeah, it could have.
Well, I don't know if you remember from when we did that Origins book, but I've always said like that's part of the Twilight Zoniness of that original Iron Man first appearance, is that you get to the ending and like he has clothes over the suit, like there's almost an implication that he can't take it off.
Yeah.
And if you were to only have that, like that's easily how you read the ending of that original story.
Yeah. Because, like, back in the 60s, he wore his actual clothing over, like, a full iron breastplate like he was Superman.
Yeah, and he has that thing where he has to, like, plug in his chest plate.
Yeah.
We also start from a place here where he couldn't possibly keep being Iron Man a secret from the people around him.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't read like a what if so much. It's more Elseworldsy because there's not exactly that branching off point, because the way the suit works is kind of different.
Yeah.
Like in the first place.
And
with the melting flesh thing and everything, where like as he puts it on, he can't take it off, or the flesh comes off with him.
Oh yeah, that scene where they pull the skin of his arm off too.
Well, and I really liked the kind of pseudoscience for how all that works, where he's able to control what the suit does with his brain, and it can like fix any medical problems. But the trade-off is you can't take the suit off, and so they Pepper Potts refers to it like, and she's wonderfully tragic. This is kind of her story.
Oh,
she's sort of the protagonist.
Yeah, she's the narrator too.
She's like the Gina Davis in The Fly.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And we're with her just as much or more with this, but she refers to it as like a portable hospital,
right?
And that's how Austin, the story gets away with Tony Stark being kind of the Lizard, in wanting to like give this to everyone, because like it does solve all your problems for you. You're just stuck in it. You know, it's like effectively you're in an iron lung, but you're able to actually walk around and do things.
Yeah.
But like you would have no disease. Like you couldn't be hurt. Like. Right. I'm buying, like, he's obviously discounting all the ways that it would be horrible to be a metal man, not the least of which that you can't enjoy any kind of physical touch, and inconveniently it's right as he's falling in love.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really liked that aspect to it,
right?
Because that felt like exactly what Stan Lee would do in the 60s.
Yeah.
It's the tragedy of this man has fallen in love. He can't touch the woman he loves. The twist is he no longer cares.
Yeah, exactly.
All of that feels like stuff Stan Lee might have done with this.
You know,
well, because it's very much building off of the like romantic angle of Iron Man. Like, as somebody who's read all that early stuff, it's really cool. Like the things that he's picking up on, and you know, like turning into like a more horror bent, and then they really accentuate some of those ideas with like showing panels from that original first appearance, which I
Yeah.
thought was really cool.
I like those little bookends too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really fit.
And the like panels he picked too were just so appropriate and so like kind of creepy in their own right out of context. Mm-hmm. Especially when put against like this story.
Yeah, especially that ending of the first appearance where he's walking
Yeah.
off into the jungle.
Yeah, like in its way, it kind of reads like eventually the original book could have gotten to something like this, but it at some point pivots and becomes more superhero-y.
Right.
Yeah, because it becomes much more of like a espionage superhero book.
But I like that this Tony Stark starts from the place of, like, I want to be a hero, I want to help people.
Yeah.
I don't want my legacy to be... I like his speech.
Yeah.
About, like, my legacy is going to be I was just an arms dealer.
Yeah.
But that's not fair because, like, I built the weapons, but I didn't fire them, and then his... and, like, that sounds like a cop-out.
Yeah.
But his allegory is... like a really compelling one when he says, well, you think about all the horrible things that can be done with a computer. Do you blame the person that built the computer? And it's like, any technology in the wrong hands can be used for evil. And then, like, don't we have to have weapons to protect people? Yeah. So you can't even say, like, well, somebody shoots someone with a handgun. We have to blame the manufacturer of the handgun. Like, should... even, like, the military and police not have guns at all? Yeah. Like, the technology has to exist, arguably. And so I really like that speech. Like, all that was really interesting.
And even, like, the last little bit at the end of that, too, where he's saying that, that's not me, I'm not the killer, but also, like, when I escaped the cave, I killed everybody in the cave.
Yeah.
That little bit there just to kind of have that little crescendo there and... really give like the insight into.
Well, and then it gets real morally ambiguous, where it's like you can see both sides to that easily.
Exactly.
Did all of those people have to die?
Yeah.
But then clearly self-defense. Yeah. Like, what would you do in that situation? But then, like, how much of it is motivated by vengeance versus protection?
And like Tony Stark, who's already wrestling with people thinking of him as a killer too, just because he built weapons, and he's like, well, I also did like these actual killings too, these actual murders, so. Maybe I'll work on that later. So you have like a little like moral ambiguity going in there, and that was just like a nice little.
Well, I'm glad you reminded me of that part of it because he's like at first I don't want to be remembered like this, and then after I left the cave, maybe I deserve to be remembered.
This exactly.
No, his whole speech reminded me of like the Nobel thing, where he created dynamite and was like, I created the most destructive thing that we have on the planet at this point. I don't want to be known for that. And obviously, like, creates the Nobel Peace Prize is like a thing to be remembered by instead.
Good call. Well, and you have that with the atom bomb. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Oppenheimer a while back too, and that was a huge.
That's a major theme in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, with everything we're talking about, keep in mind this is a 27-page comic book.
Yeah, I know.
And also, I'm glad you brought up The Fly because the more we're talking about this, you could see this easily adapted in an hour-and-a-half format.
Yeah.
Like it does, like as short as it is, it kind of reads like the storyboards for a short hour-and-a-half film.
Yeah, no, you'd probably hold on some of those things more. Like there's like a panel where you see that like he doesn't have eyelids anymore.
Yeah, you just
where you see his like eyes are like watering in the suit, and it's like you'd probably have like that'd be like a whole scene in a movie, obviously. In the same way that we do with The Fly, where it's like, okay, like here's how he like slowly loses more and more.
The way you were describing it to us last week, Chris, I was expecting something kind of grotesque.
Yeah.
And it is. But I didn't expect it to have like such a heart at its core.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when you just talk about like the basic just elevator pitch, it sounds it's easy to focus on the gross out aspects. It's easier to focus on the body horror and, his flesh melting and his bones dissolving.
That's the selling point.
That's the selling point, yeah. But when you actually get into the actual meat and bones of the story, I mean, there's, like, Pepper has an arc and Tony has his own, opposing arc, too. And just watching how those characters interact and that love story that, at least on Tony's side, is super twisted. With Pepper, it's genuine, and with Tony at first, it's genuine, but it goes, the more he gets consumed by the suit, it kind of goes off the rails a little bit too. But
and he's really smart to Ryan North, to not let the suit stuff get too far before the romance begins. Otherwise, we wouldn't buy Tony's side of it.
No,
and as you said, it wouldn't be genuine, and it really needs to be.
It does. I mean, you need
like, the timing of that is really important.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super, like, well-constructed story, too. Just purely, like, the bones of the story, and...
Well, and I'm really glad that you thought to have us read it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way I would ever think to look at that.
Yeah, because...
Not just because I'm not an Iron Man guy, but, like, these
like a tie-in to an event?
Tie-in things to events I didn't care about. Like, why would I ever look at this?
Like I said, this was the only book I read of that whole event, and that was only because I'd heard this was exceptional out of all of them. And, like, this is a book
like, I'm a little curious to try one or two of the others. I bet they're not anything like as good.
And, like, this was I remember when I first got pitched this, that was the one I started having second thoughts about, because, like, I mean, it's just like a single issue. It's not...
Well, it's sad this is called what it is, and that it's a tie-in thing. It's like, nobody's going to read this.
Right, yeah, they should.
Yeah, they should.
They should, it's good. It is funny, though, and Cap, you will appreciate this, because when... that bit where he's talking about how, like, great, I'll never have to leave the suit because his, like, skull has dissolved.
Yeah.
You know what that reminded me of?
Uh-oh.
That episode of The Tick with the world's comfiest chair.
Yes.
It's like, why would you want to take over the world?
Comfortable chair.
Yeah. Why would anyone want to take over the world? We can
I just want to sit in this chair. Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's like, I can't
now Cap's going to go off and write Darkhold,
the
Tick chair.
Why would anyone want to marry you? I just want to sit in this chair. Yes. This has got to be the first time in history that somebody else made the animated Tick reference.
Happy to help. I know where I'm at. I know our crowd here.
That's fantastic. Now, do you know the name of that episode?
I don't offhand.
So that's the episode.
The most comfortable chair.
So that's the episode with the Ottoman of the Ottoman Empire. Yes. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But the title of that episode is "Evil Sits Down for a Moment."
That is amazing.
That's that episode. That's into season 2 when we stopped. Always
doing the verses.
Yeah. Which. I love some of those episode titles. They get really creative. Mm-hmm. But then by season 3, we go back to the verses sometimes, but not always, and it's irritating and inconsistent. And it made me wish that we'd kept it all the way through, that naming scheme, but whatever. And then it gets really irritating because when we do it in season 3, we get lazy and we take the article adjective off. So when it's verses, it's not the Tick verses. Now it's just Tick verses, I don't understand that.
Yeah,
I don't know why they did that. It's like Tick versus science.
Right.
Stop it.
You know what? What's always bothered me like that is Jessica Jones, where every episode is AKA something, because the show was originally called AKA Jessica Jones, but they still kept the episodes like that. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, but...
yeah, I remember when they had to change the name of the series from Alias because there was already an Alias.
Yeah, the JJ show.
Yeah, the JJ.
I think Abrams, it would have been funny though if they just called the show AKA. That was just the name of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Marvel's also known as. What?
It's some form of alias, if you will.
Oh.
Let me read through these comments real quick. RJ Godzilla, the Darkhold Iron Man comic, looks like it was influenced by a 1989 Japanese body horror film called Tetsuo the Iron Man.
I don't think I know Tetsuo.
So
I haven't seen Tetsuo.
I thought that more from the cover, and then didn't have it as much in the actual book. I'm sure it still was.
Yeah.
But at least visually, the cover looks more like that.
He
than
said
the
that too
actual
right after.
story
He said
does.
the cover does at least.
Yeah.
I always get Tetsuo confused because wasn't that also like the
I've never
original name
heard
of
of
Gigantor? Gigantor, the space age robot. He's
I'm not
at
sure.
Your command, Gigantor, the space age robot. His power. Okay,
I don't know, but it was worth it for that.
I agree.
Look, it came
You
out
need
around...
to clip that and have the 10-hour version of YouTube.
with me just like bouncing around here. I mean, look.
Yeah, just like I'm gonna clip that bit where Austin's like, all these people got murdered. It was great.
Yeah, have that and then cut to Chris singing and dancing.
Just like, all these people got murdered. Gigantor, the space age robot. That show came out at the same time as Astro Boy, and both had like the catchiest theme songs, dude.
The problem
This
is,
sounds like we're making our own TV show. Like my thing's like right before the theme song starts, like to hook the audience in.
Yeah.
The teaser.
The theme starts.
The
teaser.
problem with Gigantor,
Yeah.
with a like super catchy theme song like that, is it sounds like the villain of a thing.
It does. I mean,
It's
technically,
misunderstood.
I think technically the original like Japanese text, Gigantor was built specifically to fight the Allies. It's like Gigantor. Who are you fighting with, Gigantor?
Oh no!
Oh no! They changed that when it came over to the States. They cut that out of the dub.
RJ Godzilla, what would have happened if Chairface Chippendale sat in the world's most comfortable chair? Oh my god. Yeah.
No, yeah.
and that seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, they should have done a follow-up episode, not with the ottoman, but with the chair. Like, Chairface sits in it.
Yes. Ben Edlund, if you're watching this,
man. I'm sorry, what, Austin?
Said, or if he replaces his own head with the perfect chair, where he's like, now I've leveled up.
that's the Tick body horror episode. That's
Well,
the Tick Darkhold.
Here's the thing. You'd think that's impossible because you'd have to shrink it down first. But then the follow-up to the Brainchild episode in Season 2 has a shrinking ray. So you go back and get that. And also, that's an episode that has a lot of the villains in it. So it's already precedent for, like,
Yeah.
everybody from episodes shows up in a thing.
Right.
So yeah, you have Chairface shrink that. I don't know what the plot is. I don't know how he's. And if you replace, it becomes like a Theseus ship thing. Because if you replace Chairface's head with another chair, is he still Chairface or even a person anymore? I would assume not.
See, I don't even think you have to explain it shrinking. I think it would be funny if you just picked it up and put it on his head, and then just when it connected in,
Yeah.
it like became the size of a head.
But like, where's his brain?
Yeah, in his knee.
His knee.
Okay. Nicholas Bodo, is this the darkest Iron Man story you guys have read?
Probably.
Probably,
Well,
but just because of being like a body horror thing.
Yeah.
There's stuff in Ultimate, right?
Well, Ultimate was.
I've never read his own mini or maxi,
Yeah.
I have, but it's been
But-
so long.
but Ultimate Human's pretty messed up too, and just the Ultimates is messed
Yeah.
up.
I mean, Ultimate.
Just Ultimate in general.
Ultimate Tony Stark was.
How many times can we say Ultimate in
Ultimate,
1 minute?
exactly.
60 seconds.
6 seconds, yeah.
Sorry,
That's how you know
Tony-
you're an Ultimate Human.
Exactly. Well, in that Tony Stark had like a brain tumor that they built it because.
That's
you know,
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, I guess it depends too if we're talking about like how we define dark, because like,
Well, sure.
man, Demon in a Bottle, there's some parts of that too where it's like these guys gonna fight Titanium Man
Benny
now.
O'Neill's stuff where he's like living on the streets, and there's like the like meth head girlfriend he has that
Yes.
like dies in the cold.
It's like burning
Like all
or
that
something,
stuff's really
yeah.
messed up too.
No, that's true. There's a lot of different shades of dark.
Yeah.
Side-scrolling hero with Spawn Year Captain Logan's Darkhold story. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But some of our viewers actually watched it because it wasn't called Captain Logan the Darkhold.
Yes. I think your skull actually melted during that too at one point.
It did.
Yeah.
It absolutely did. Austin, don't you
Yes.
think there's a cool premise just in this story as a line they could have done if it didn't come out of the Darkhold thing? I mean, like, Ryan North wouldn't have written this if he wasn't inspired within just an assignment he had to do with the Darkhold, but, like, looking back on it, it might have been cool if you'd done something that was like, I don't know what you'd call it, like Dark Origin or something, but where you're like, what's the like tragic you're like the really horrible tragic origin for all of these stories where they don't become heroes, like something much worse happens to them.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a horror thing. Like, you could do a cool war PTSD thing with Captain America.
Yeah, they wouldn't all have to be or they wouldn't all have to be horror. You're right. I think the mission statement of it would just be they all have to be tragic. Like it all has to be like bad origin. What's the like we did Marvel The End. You do like a tragic beginning. It's like The End, but it's maybe the idea would be how do you make every you do the antithesis of the longevity that these characters have had, and you go, how do you make all of them one anthology issue?
Yeah. One thought, like, thinking too, like, in some ways, that's what, like, Immortal Hulk was. But another way you could take that to is, have any of you played the game Mouthwashing?
No, I've never even heard of it.
It's like an indie game. It's one of those it's a first-person game, but it's one of those like first-person games that I have to play in like real quick installments because it kind of gives me motion sickness. But the camera is also a little like wonky too. Part of that game is that you're on a ship that crashed, and you go back and forth between two different characters, and one of those characters actually crashes the ship. So, like, basically, the first chapter of the game is you crashing this ship that, like, strands all your teammates. But the captain during the whole thing is badly injured, badly burned, and is bandaged up in sickbay for essentially the entire half of the game, or you go back and forth. Sometimes you play as the captain, sometimes you play as the crew member that actually crashed the ship. But yeah, so for parts of the game, for like every other scene, you see your character from the other half of the game completely just burnt to a crisp, bandaged up. You're just like a bloody mess just on a slab, and you can't move. So you're just watching your crew just sort of like go insane and have their lives ruined and be tortured. And there's nothing you can do about it. And of course, the other half of the game is that you're the one going around and cause all these problems too. But that's one way you could take like the Hulk.
It sounds like a cool game.
Yeah, I mean it's just like a Steam game that again also goes into a lot of like psychological issues, goes into like deals with like PTSD and deals with survivors who killed, stuff like that too. And that's also another story that deals with like addiction, because one of the characters of the game is an alcoholic, and the thing that you're carrying is a bunch of mouthwash. So he figures, like, I've been sober for 20 years, but I'm gonna die anyway. I'm gonna drink this mouthwash with a little bit of alcohol in it. So, not to get on a tangent here, but mouthwash is a super good game.
All I know is Marvel, get me to write the Dark Origin for Daredevil. He's blind and then his dad dies, and he has no boost from being blind.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I've got what you would do for Namor. he just goes to war with the surface world, and we just nuke him. The end.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was gonna say a person like has a baby and they like cut off the wings of a pigeon and sew them onto his feet and then throw him into the ocean. And then he just drowned.
It's like, why'd you put the wings on his feet? So he can fly.
That has nothing to do with swimming.
But he can already swim. He's like, okay, he's got both now.
Yeah, exactly. You can do both.
Okay, now I wish I hadn't brought up Namor. Well, anyway, thanks for having us read that.
Yeah, no worries.
And not just because it was short.
Yeah.
But because I would have never even found out about that.
Right, yeah. It was, again, just something that I'd heard good things about, thought I'd check it out, and went no further in the event.
It's given me a newfound appreciation for Ryan North, and I always have massive respect for anybody that can actually tell a really solid story, beginning, middle, and end in a like relatively normal sized comic book. Because it's an art we've lost, and I feel like in just the last couple of years, I'm seeing it come back with a vengeance. And that's very exciting.
Well, I think like the kind of like Bendisism became like so made fun of at a certain point that I feel like the industry as a whole, like after collectively adopting that, had to go, okay, we need to reel this back.
You're absolutely right about that, and I'll suggest another possible motivation for it too, Austin, which is some of these creators, and I don't know that the companies themselves have this, like editorial, but but some of the creators are themselves maybe not happy with the hefty price tag and want to make sure that they're giving you bang for your buck, and they go, let's actually write some comics that are worth owning on their own and aren't just another cog in a machine and another thing to try to get you to buy another thing. You can get away with that when they're $2 and $3. It's much harder to get away with that when they're $5, $6, $7. And you go, well, okay, if you're gonna pay $6 for my comic book, it's gonna be a comic book, by God. It's gonna be a full-on comic book.
Exactly. It will be like one.
unit. No, and I've heard that like Snyder has done like creative retreats at DC where like they like really hammer that in of like how to write an actual issue.
Snyder's even like, I know he's he teaches too, and he's done like workshops. I mean, I actually attended one of his workshops, an online thing too, a few years ago. So yeah, I mean, he's got like he's got like some storytelling chops too.
Well, and it's funny because I think Snyder is some sort of a midpoint where he sometimes has the Bendis problem, or something like it, and then he is absolutely fully capable of telling the great one shot comic, or at least getting enough done within his issue that you see a clear beginning, middle, and end, and.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it's maybe just time in the industry, maybe, because, you especially go back to, like, his initial New 52 run on Batman. Like, that's a big part of the, like, Batman doesn't have a status quo. It's just event stories, basically.
Yeah.
Where, like, most of his stories, or at least early on, are, like, packaged as events, where, like, everything was tying into them, too.
Yeah,
I also think you have to give him a little bit of slack because he was, that whole thing was hyped up so hard with him and Campolo that's what DC wanted him to do. They wanted every arc to be this giant.
Oh yeah, I'm not even being critical. Like it's that's kind of like the start, and then like that's kind of just the book after that. But yeah, like DC 100% played into it. And I mean, I like his New 52 run, so it's not like I'm like, that run sucks.
Yeah, no, I mean, his was kind of a highlight of the New 52 for me.
It didn't end great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing I have is that I stopped reading it like around when it got bad. So it's like, this run's great. Oh, yeah, that's right. Like, it kept going.
The weirdest thing about his run for me is you get to the blue mark, and like Gordon as Batman is dumb, doesn't work. He feels like a completely different character as soon as he gets the bat suit, the gigantic mech bat suit, because Snyder's obsessed with bat suits. But the best thing about that run about that arc ended up being what I was worried about coming into it would be the stupidest thing, which is Amnesia Bruce Wayne. Amnesia Bruce Wayne ended up actually being really great.
Yeah.
And it was such a bad idea. But, like, that ended up being the best thing in the arc. It was very strange. But, like, Gordon shaves his head and literally becomes 30 years younger.
Shaves his mustache, too, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, like, he doesn't just look younger. They write him, like, Snyder writes him younger. He can physically do things he shouldn't be able to do. It's weird.
Yeah, he's shaved.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a younger man now.
Yeah.
Like, I need to shave more often then, because suddenly
That's why Bruce Wayne doesn't have facial hair.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, what?
That's why Bruce Wayne doesn't have facial hair.
That's the secret.
That's the secret, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
All these characters in DC have been around for 80 years just because they shave. Superman does the heat vision mirror thing, and it's like, all right, cool, I got another 5 decades in me.
Anyway, well, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We're going to get going, but we'll be back with you again, if all goes according to plan, next Tuesday, and we'll do a Jerry Conway show. So don't forget to read Superman and Spider-Man, the original. And like I said, I've never read that cover to cover, so that'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never read it either.
I haven't either, so it'll be a first for all of us.
We'll be more cultured. It'll be great.
More cultured.
Austin, thanks for doing this again, and thanks for reading some books and bringing them in.
It wasn't very many.
Yeah,
It was easy on my part.
Next week you'll be doing all the heavy lifting for that segment, because I don't know that I'm even going to the comic shop tomorrow. I mean, again, if I can somehow get there and get the free comic day issues, I'll at least have that stuff to talk about. But like, I don't even know if I can do that, and I don't think I have anything on my poll this week.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, I think I have like maybe 6, depending on if I get Swamp Thing.
Yeah. And then you'll read that, you'll be like, I don't know what's happening in this.
Yeah, exactly.
Side-scrolling hero, watching a ton of your old commentaries and reviews after marathoning a bunch of stuff. Thanks for the great stuff. Oh, you're welcome. Oh. I'm glad it's all still there. No, appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan, and this was Chris and Austin the Day Ghost. Good night, folks.
Bye,
Good night.
Bye, everybody.